and gentlemen, welcome to Casting the Spotlight, episode number 227. And tonight, our special guest of the evening is Matt Moore. It's great to see you, man. Thank you for making it.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me here. It's been exciting to kind of catch up these last, I don't know, I've been talking for about an hour and a half or so, but it's been kind of cool to kind of get started, no, for sure.
Oh, yeah. It's been quite a while. I guess we said it was probably closer to 6-7 years ago or so last time.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID.
Yeah,
Pre-COVID. Yeah, everything's changed, yeah.
It has, for sure. And I know we were talking a little off air about what you've been up to, and I know you've been coaching, and you recently you got a child in your life, and it's great that a lot of people that we all went to school with are having like a great time at this point in their life. You know what I mean? It's years of years after kind of meeting and going through school and just seeing the way things have progressed. It's nice that a lot of people are thriving in their own way. You know what I mean? Yeah,
it's those probably like we said, those 6-7 years outside of high school were trying to really figure things out, and then after that it's kind of cool. Everybody's on a fun track, and everybody kind of knows what they're doing with their lives, and it's just fun.
Yeah, everybody. That's the thing is, I feel like we're at the age now where it's like, I mean, we're around 30. Everybody. People are kind of at more of a point in their lives, at least, where it's not as helicopter mode, where they don't know what's going on. You know what I mean?
All over the place, yeah. No,
I mean, everybody kind of figures it out at their own pace, but yeah, at 30 years old, it's kind of like everybody's adults at this point.
I know, I'm getting further and further away. I'm 31, so
he's saying almost, because he's 29. He's hanging on by a thread for a little longer.
Not too much longer.
Yeah, not too much longer.
Yeah. No, it's been cool to catch up. It's been great. This is my first time being on a podcast, so I'm excited just for the vibe in the next couple hours, see what's going on.
I'm great. We'll be talking a little off air regardless before we start, but it's just some people, whenever they come on, won't really know, because they're like, I've never really done this before, talked into a because you said you've been on radio.
So you do those, and then after every game we go and do radio interviews and stuff, and we have people come to the office and do those kind of things and stuff like that. But things that are this long, I just haven't had a whole lot of experience with. But it's different and cool and fun, especially with people I know too. So
yeah. But once again, glad you're here. Glad we can make this happen. And I realized that over the course of the life of the pod is it becomes a meaning or a means of not just talking about the things we enjoy to talk about, the events and the things coming up, but also it's always a means to get back together with the people you want to see, with the people you care about, with the people you're friends with the people you haven't caught up with in a while. It's always a way to bring it back around. It's if we actually schedule something, instead of being we need to hang out sometime, man, plan never gets made. But if you're we got a podcast, it almost feels like it's not work, but it's it feels okay, well, it's a schedule, it's a date, it's a this and that. You plan it out, you make it happen, and we planned this a while. And then you actually abide by it because of those parameters, you know what I mean? Because you etched out the time and place and day to make it happen.
Yeah, there's been times where there's things that are not like this, but eventually we'll kind of get to this. And as soon as I kind of, we were talking about it, you're like, let's get this on the schedule. So I've known about, we've had this, and I'm like, April 20th, I'm going down to talk to Tim and Elijah about, all this stuff. So, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a set plan, you were kind of saying, rather than just messaging somebody from high school you hadn't seen in forever and being we need to get together sometime, we need to hang out. I mean, and I'm guilty of that. I do that with people. I've done that with people, at least in the past, and it's not my intention to not see that person. It's just like I said, we're all adults now. It's nobody's schedules line up. It's not like you can just be this Tuesday a week from now, let's meet at the bowling alley, have a couple drinks, and play a game.
Yeah. I would say even more than that, it's harder to do a lot of stuff spontaneously. Unless somebody's free. But if they're free, you might end up making plans with them anyway.
Plus, spontaneous shit sometimes gives me some anxiety. I can't lie. If I'm not all I feel like I used to just be more down for it. Now that I'm kind of I've edged
You got more on your plate.
My
though.
life
We
and
all
my week out a little bit more. It's like if somebody's like, "Hey, let's go do this tonight," I'm like, "Whoa, I didn't expect this at all." You know, I don't know.
I think it's a little bit.
I didn't
like,
prepare myself for this.
It's like that decision fatigue you're making. The older you get, the more decisions you have to make. So going out's just one more decision. When you're when you're 17, the only decision you got to make is do I go or not. So when you're a little bit younger, it's like, oh, it's easier to kind of just get out and do your thing. And now it's like, oh Lord, that's
more preparation before actually doing anything.
Just doing anything is just more difficult for whatever reason. I don't even know.
So man, I gotta ask. You're the only one of us three with a child in your life, so
I was gonna say it's probably especially hard for you.
What is that like?
It's awesome. We were talking because you were talking about the mic colors, and they're all Ninja Turtles related. And my son loves the Ninja Turtles. We were talking just before. He doesn't really love watching the Ninja Turtles for whatever reason. He loves the shirts and the toys and all that. And
action figures.
Oh yeah, we got all those. We got ones that spin and ones that have like their all their weapons and all that fun stuff. So it's pretty cool. A lot of times I kind of equate it to. My little brother's, he's like 8 years younger than me. So a lot of times it's like having a younger brother because when I was 11, my brother was 3. So now my son's 3, and so I get to kind of be 11 again. So it's a lot of, my son likes to watch video games, but he can't really play them. So we do a lot of like doing kind of things like that. Just fun, just kind of kid stuff again. That's kind of the best part about that. It's fun to have somebody run to the door every day for you. So that's been great. It's interesting when I kind of part of being a coach and being a dad. It's kind of similar when you move just over just a little bit. Even though you've been around it a lot, you've been around parents and people who have raised kids and been in charge of people. It's like, why are they mad at that, or why are they acting this way in certain things? And I'm like, oh no, I understand my parents a lot more now. Just whatever. And there's certain things you have to make decisions and things every day that you're like, this he will, we won't appreciate this until he has kids, because you wouldn't appreciate things until, my son was born. Just a little bit different than just perspective is pretty cool. So, I can't really add a whole lot to just what it's like every day. But
the thing I always thought was, there's a world where like once you have a kid, I feel like just from my theoretical standpoint, where you can enjoy the holidays and everything that comes along with it in a way that you couldn't. We all enjoyed our like childhood, like holidays and Christmases and all that stuff. But now you get to relive it in a completely different way because you're like raising somebody, and you can create that experience for them.
Yeah, we've you don't really have birthday parties the same way. Once you turn like 12 or so. Now like birthday parties are really cool because it's like you get to like plan it and like do themes and stuff, and everything's just fun. And Christmas and all those just kind of random things are like things I didn't even think that I would really get to enjoy as much. I know it's exciting. Something that we've been really excited for, and the thing we were most excited for this entire year. My son's super into Super Mario, and the Super Mario Galaxy movie came out. So we were actually like prepping. We would go to movies like before, like a few months ago, and just try to be like get ready to like this is how you act in a movie theater, whatever, all that stuff. So it was just cool, and we've seen it 3 times. We've been and. It's cool, and when they're that little, they don't cost anything, so you just kind of go. So that's cool. So just to like watch him watch the movie is like the coolest thing ever. I'm like, he's like in the first movie. I don't know if you guys watch those movies, but Yoshi wasn't in the first one. He's in the second one, and it's like my son thinks that's the coolest thing ever, and so it's just really fun to watch those kind of just random things. So
see, that does feel exciting as a fan of entertainment. That's always been the thing with me is I'm like, because little kids don't often get enthralled in something, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of cool. They get enthralled in a movie. Like I always even said that about like wrestling. Like I have so much wrestling memorabilia that I'm like, I don't know like any kids or anything that are into it. If I did, I would have like a treasure trove for these kids. You know what I mean? Like my niece and nephew aren't really into it. Like I just have all this stuff and that's the thing. Who's to say, even if you have a kid, that they're going to be into the things that you like? You know what I mean? I wouldn't force feed my kid my things, but I would still watch it while they're around.
You would attempt. I'm sure you would attempt to show them. Like,
I would sit them down.
But the biggest thing is like and that's the influence you're around, like the environment. If Devin and Crystal aren't into it, they're not gonna really adapt it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's the thing is, it's not like my nephew's really into video games. Like, that's his thing. And, like, Devin likes him enough, but he's never been, like, the gamer.
Yeah.
And Crystal's whatever about him, but, like, he's into it. You know, he knows all about it. He's, like, into all these different kind of world-building games and stuff like that. And my niece is all into anime. And, like, Devin was into that as a kid. But now that he's older, it's like it hasn't really been in his life in a long time. So it's just kind of funny to see that it's like his daughter, probably around the age that he got into it, is like, this is her thing now. You know?
Yeah, no, it's exciting when they get into something first, and then you're like my son was like into Toy Story, and I'm like, you're not gonna believe all the toys I have at my house, like my parents' house. You go back and you see all that stuff, and he's like, whoa, this is crazy. You know? So
this is the original.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, man, and you start thinking sometimes, like, if I hadn't opened this is probably worth like hundreds of dollars, but no. That stuff is cool.
I definitely think like another layer opens up though if you have a kid and like can provide that experience for them like your parents did you. It's just like it's another whole, and like you're still experiencing life for the first time too because you're learning now all this stuff for the first time as a parent.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a whole nother like chapter that gets like unveiled to you.
I was like, I wonder how my parents would handle this at this age, and how they would do this. And
I thought about that sometimes. I'm like, what age was I when my dad, you know what I'm saying, like was like my age? Like how old was I? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm like, I feel like my dad and my mom had this much more together than me sometimes, but it's just trying to think of the best options to kind of do some things, and all those other things are really fun, but it's like there's a lot of things that are more just free time's not there as much, so you just got to try and pour as much energy as you can in the little guys. So yeah.
Do you ever like wonder about like the way the world was when we were all kids, compared to now? Like, do you ever, you're like, oh man, like what is it gonna be like when they're my age?
Yeah, we were kind of talking about off air.
Yeah, I was trying to think because like
the world is just man, it's changed
that's what's
so
the
much.
scary part about having. I feel like that's every generation feels kind of some of that is like, I don't know what the world's going to be like when they're my age. What am I bringing them into? But it feels extra with our generation, at least to me, because I'm living it, but like with the technological advancements that we're experiencing right now, that it's like I really have no clue what it's going to look like in 25 years.
Yeah, we were talking about that. I was like, I could work a VCR when I was like 4 or 5, but my son like is able to like kind of do some stuff with a smartphone, not as much because we don't let him like just hang out with it, but it's like, I mean, that's kind of scary, what's going to be next, so it's just just different than what we kind of had and grew up with, and it was a little bit different, and I feel like we were kind of introduced to technology in kind of a nice way. It's like, okay, you get a Game Boy, and then here's the phone that like can call in emergencies, and then we're given like kind of full access to these kind of things that are like our jobs and stuff now, and everything else, and lets us talk to everybody in the world and all that. I know sometimes it's like you're on your phone too much, but I'm like, well, you can talk to anybody in the world and look up any facts, so it's kind of hard not to sometimes, but tough to kind of introduce them into those kind of things for sure.
It's just so different because social media has now become a place of like influence and advertising, and I feel like whenever we first were in like junior high school, I guess like high school, because some of it was in there when we were in junior high and stuff, but it didn't really take off, as we know, until like the high school times. And we were kind of like the trial generation for social media. You know what I mean? That like learned how to like use it throughout, and like we just kind of used it for bullshit and to communicate, and it's turned into what it's turned into, and it just feels like it's taken another life. You know what I mean, too, because people use it for their influence and their political opinions and their this and that, you know what I mean? And so it's kind of like, I kind of almost missed the like early era of it in a way. You know what I mean? When we were all just like bullshitting and like just putting our opinions, quoting song lyrics and stuff like that. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like that, it was innocent. It was like, because it kind of was. It was just like, oh, we're just kind of, you know, we're kind of like journalizing our thoughts onto something.
Yeah.
And that was like what
everyone's personal journal that everybody could kind of read. Yeah. You know, it was what you were willing to share with the world.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine being our parents' age and like not being able to hear from so many people and then be able to look them up like immediately for like a long period of time. That would almost be more cool than being able to see everything that everybody's been doing at the same time. Not that it's not cool, but kind of having a break from it for a little bit would be nice as well. So,
getting a friend request from somebody like 30 years later after high school, you'd be like, holy shit, I haven't seen this guy in forever.
I always say, I'm like, if it wasn't for advertising like the podcast, I would not be even nearly as active on social media. But I'm like, every several days and stuff, we're like putting stuff up and we're talking about like this and that, like our next episode. So I'm like, sometimes I'll put personal stuff on there, but I also think that it's kind of like the influencers have so much to do with it, and it's about that, and it's sort of deviated from, say, in 2010 or 12, whenever we were all on there and just doing, you know, saying different stuff on there.
Yeah.
Only thing you had to worry about at that point was cyberbullying.
No, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd be on there too much. There's a lot of stuff with like recruiting and stuff, just like checking out players and things like that keep you on those kind of things. And if I wasn't on there, I'm not sure how much I would do on there. No, I post too much stuff. So,
but I that's the thing is like I can't at any point, as much as I want to, and I actually would like to, aside from the podcast and advertising and stuff, it would be just I would not be seeing some of this. I would still get some of the important information, of course, but if it wasn't for that, I could just literally delete the apps and like not have to interact with, you know what I mean? I would maybe, because there's some people that I keep up with on Snapchat, so I'd maybe keep that one around, but I would like delete some of the other ones, especially Facebook and all that, and just kind of do it from there. But it's, I don't know, it feels very different than whenever we first got on. You know what I mean? And shit was Farmville, and people were...
pokes or whatever that is, all that stuff.
You could poke people. You could still poke people, but it's
I didn't even know. Yeah, I didn't even know.
Why are they giving you updates of other people's posts? I don't fucking give a fuck. If they put this reel on here, or if they...
I feel like I don't even hardly see any of my actual friends' posts when I get on Facebook. It's like... It's all, like... fan pages I follow and like groups I'm in and like news articles about things I'm interested in or like just things going on in the world. It's like I scroll like 14 posts before I see something from an actual person that I'm like, I've had a conversation with before.
You see a lot of stuff of people you don't follow that they think are catering to your interests, so that's what they feed you. The algorithm kind of figures you out, and so it starts to feed you what they think you're going to intensely agree with or intensely disagree with.
They want to either get you to be like, join the rally or get real pissed.
It's something. Yeah, my Instagram's like that, where it's like I don't see anything that's from people I know, but it is. It's been so weird. Yeah.
People are following Matty Mo on social media.
Had to drop it in there.
Had to. But yeah, it's, I don't know. Not to get too caught up on that, but it's just, I do think about it sometimes because it's like heavily influential in what goes into people's brains on a daily basis, like social media, you know?
Yeah.
And it's become less social and more either influential or trying to influence.
It's basically advertisement media nowadays.
The scrolling part, where as soon as you could kind of reset and it just kind of goes to the next thing, that's been kind of the big bummer. And instead of just being able to, just refresh. You used to be able to go and be like, the last thing that I saw was something that Tim posted like 10 minutes ago, and I go check it again, nothing's been happening, but I put that on my phone and I just don't look at it for another 2 hours or whatever, and now it's kind of like I can look at anything, on any app, so it's like...
I would rather
see... If you refresh that page, it's an entirely different news feed.
I would rather see like what my friends are saying than random people and posts that I do not follow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing. You gotta like switch that shit over to friends rather than the home.
I know. I couldn't even figure it out one day on Facebook. I was like, I feel like I'm a million years old, but I feel like I should be able to do this where I can just see things that from people that I know. But yeah, because
either what they're sharing, what they're saying, whatever.
Yeah.
But I would rather that be the case because then you're gonna be fed the algorithm like we were just talking about.
Yeah.
But no, anyways, it's definitely transformed since like the inception and since it got big like back in the day.
How long till we're the prehistoric dinosaurs that like the younger generation makes fun of for posting the pictures like down here? What's gonna be our equivalent to that? Technology's gonna pass us by.
Do you feel like you're pretty with the times still, or do you feel like you're
no? I have we were talking about that just before. We were talking about just how young some of my players are and those things. And the youngest ones they graduated 2025 last year, so just real young. And this is the first
06, 07.
Yeah. So it's been wild just to kind of interact with them a little bit. And that's because the first year I kind of felt a little bit old, but there's sometimes where I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about, but they're having fun, so it's not like it's bad or anything. But but it's a me thing, just getting a little bit older there. So. No, and then they're doing that weird thing at practice. We play music at practice, and I just let them play music and stuff. And they're playing a lot of throwback stuff, like stuff from we were in high school and stuff like just before that.
Throwback.
Yeah, I know, right? So I'm like, I wish there was. I was like, can you guys play some like new stuff so I know what's happening? Like I don't. But it is kind of cool with know the songs that are playing too. So. But no,
that's probably why they're playing it.
It's
crazy. I want coach to catch a vibe.
Yeah, they're probably thinking we're playing this geriatric music.
It's crazy how long Payphone by Maroon 5 and Wiz Khalifa has been in the cycle. It's it's never left the cycle of like public music.
I know.
It's always
Dude, my girlfriend played Dynamite by Tyler Cruz in the car the other day, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, dude, I heard this song like probably like every day of every week in my life throughout like junior high and high school, and I haven't heard this song probably since then.
Yeah, I know there's songs like that. It's funny because there's songs that like my dad doesn't like that I like, and he's like, well, it was overplayed when I was a kid. And I was like, oh, I didn't hear it. And there's songs like that they play at practice.
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
like, I do not like this song. And they're like they play it all the time, and they'll be like, oh, we barely hear it because we were like 2 when this came out, and I'm like, okay, cool, because I was like in high school. So, but yeah, that little even just a little bit of a generation gap is just kind of funny, even though it happens real fast. So, but.
It does happen fast. It happens way faster than we thought it would. Like we were talking about off air, I just can't believe like the quick turnaround from Christmas to the next Christmas. Like time feels like it's moving twice as fast, but it's also because you have more to worry about, and not just you, but like all of it, like paying bills and taking care of things and like providing for people. If you have to, it's like there is so much stuff that takes your mental capacity and your time that you just don't even have the time to process everything like we would 15 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't process the same way because everything is just planned in like, oh, okay, on this and this day, this bill's due, and then this thing, I gotta do this, I gotta work. It's like it all happens, and then you're, it's time for the next event, or it's time for the next holiday, it's time for the next thing. And you just don't even realize while you're in it how fast time is moving. That's why, like, if you don't take action and make things happen, it really feels like it's going to pass you by. If you don't, it's like we were saying, like for the podcast or what have you, if you don't window time in for things, 5 years are going to pass you by and you'll be like, holy shit, I haven't even seen this person in a long time.
It happens fast. And keeping those kind of things in your calendar too, and that's kind of what I talked about, like in the, am I too far away? I don't know.
I always tell people to stay like 4 to 8 inches away.
Okay, cool. But just some of the things that like I like about a college basketball and just the school schedules, that there's a rotating kind of looking forward to these kind of things, and just keeping things in your schedule that are like, that's something to look forward to, is really just something that keeps just people going, because if you kind of get into that same kind of grid kind of schedule where it's this after this kind of wear on you a little bit, and I'm like, that's why I was so cool to be excited for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I was like, it felt like it took forever to come out because we were excited for it, so that was just something cool. But Yeah, enough about Super Mario, I guess. So, it was funny, you guys were talking about wrestling and stuff earlier, and my son is like not into wrestling, but we like show it, and he kind of like gets it and stuff. And there's, if you have a boy, it's really cool because you can like wrestle with him and stuff like that. Like he loves being like rock bottom, so you can pick him up and just like slam him on like the bed and stuff. So that's cool.
Rock bottom. Those are reference.
Those are the best because you can do that and it doesn't hurt. You know that, and then whatever one I can't think of what's called.
Hit him with a choke slam.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do stuff like that. You can do. I can't think of what it is. Tuck the head and kind of flip him over. He loves that one. Yeah, stuff like that. So. I'm like, that's good. He's not as cooperative to do like a people's elbow. Like he likes he's not a good, he doesn't sell it.
He's not going to lay
So he jumps up too high, so you're going to get hurt, dude. So he likes that.
Gotta hit him with the quick motion kind of ones, where you pick him up. And
just real fast. So he likes that. We put it on the other day, and he was like, I was like, I can't tell if he's into it or not, but he likes it. They're jumping around, and they're loud and stuff, and we were watching some old stuff. But, yeah.
Where are you watching?
We watched. Well, I looked at your list. You had the list of the 20.
Top 20.
Yeah,
look at that.
And so my favorite one wasn't on there, so I definitely wanted to bring that up. And that's one we watched.
That was WrestleMania matches, wasn't it?
Yeah. So my favorite wasn't on there. My favorite is Rock and Hogan. WrestleMania 18. Yeah, that's my favorite.
That's considered one of the greatest matches
of
all time. Yeah.
So we were watching that one. He liked that one. I was like, isn't it cool?
There's arguably never been a crowd more hyped for a match than what they were in that.
The crowd is what sold that match.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I was reading and there were some of them where you were like,
that's what it's about, though.
I can't think of which one you said like the wrestling in it was like it wasn't the match wasn't good because it was the wrestling. I can't remember which one you said that about.
Probably Hogan Vince.
Yeah. It was that one. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, it's totally that because it's like Hulk Hogan at that point couldn't really move, but it was kind of fun to watch them kind of do that stuff. So we showed that one. I'm like, isn't it cool how into it the crowd is? And my son's just like, can I just knock each other down again? And I'm like, no.
Old guys bleeding all over.
That's awesome. You put it on for them.
Yeah. So we were watching that. We watched. Hogan and Andre the Giant. We were just trying to throw some stuff on there. And I kind of feel like it's like wrestling somehow bigger than it ever has been, but not as like culturally significant for whatever reason. I don't know.
It's kind of
it's globally massive. Yeah. But it's not like it doesn't feel like there's one specific earth-shattering or like an earth-shattering character necessarily.
There's like more global awareness, I would say, of the product than ever.
Yeah.
But the ratings and the need to watch isn't as great as it's ever been.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. And that comes with the times that there's also, like, different ways to digest it. Obviously we have, like, the Reels and the TikToks and the short videos and, like, all that stuff, too, to, like, create moments. That's why they put iShow Speed on fucking WrestleMania.
Splashing through a table.
To create moments and to get clicks and views,
Yeah.
And that's why that's the whole reason they launched that Speed series on Twitter or X now, because it was like quick.
Yeah.
So people can get in, watch a match in under 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Bring more people.
That's cool. You put on the matches for
Yeah, no, I was I can't remember who did it. It was a few years ago, and there was a guy who did like a big long video about how like wrestling's like an art form and how it's like kind of like the storytelling and all that stuff is really fun. And I was like, I used to watch that when I was a kid, so I kind of started trying to get like caught up. And so like when I'm in the office, it's kind of cool because I'm by myself and I kind of play music and stuff. And so, and if I'm watching like, if I have like a TV episode or something on in the background, it's like something like reality TV. So I've watched a lot of Hell's Kitchen, which is like good because they tell you what's going on the whole time. And if you miss stuff, it's not a big deal. And so I had a lot of wrestling on in the background and stuff too. So I rolled through all the WrestleMania.
That's no problem with wrestling either, because if you watch weekly wrestling, the thing is like a quarter of the show is them replaying shit that happened earlier in the show. You're like, dude, I saw this 40 minutes ago. Why are you giving me a replay?
So I had a lot of that on in the background. I was trying to get caught up and just kind of watch some stuff. I was hoping, because I know you guys were doing the WrestleMania 42 thing. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say I like watched them all where it's like, I'm like definitely intending, watching them in super detail. And I was like, dang, I didn't have the 42 one up on Netflix by the time I had went to go look. But so I missed that one. But no, we did that. But it was cool in that thing because someone was like, why do people like wrestling? Because they know it's like fake. and he said something like, well, I don't like The Matrix because I think it's real. Like, I don't like Star Wars because I think it's real, you know?
You're suspending disbelief because you're
buying into the story and the character.
To be entertained.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's like a stage show, you know, and it's just cool, and it's...
I mean, whenever you watch a play, it's the same fucking thing.
Yeah, that's why it drives me insane whenever people are like, fuck this guy, fuck this girl. It's like, you cannot like the character, but to like wish harm on this person's insane.
Yeah.
They're playing a damn character on TV.
Yeah.
That's unfortunately the society like that we have normalized, though, is where people think, oh, just because I don't like them or disagree with them, you should be dying.
Yeah.
Like,
if you get into the lore of wrestling, the thing you learn is half the time the heels are some of the best people and the baby faces sometimes are not.
It's the opposite. Yeah, no, for sure. What's I saw the Angels thing over here. I saw the Angels thing over here. What's the story on the Angels?
It's honestly, it's only, and I'm not a bigger Angels fan than Cardinals fan.
Okay, I was just wondering.
No. It's only because 2 days before I moved back here in 2018, we went to an Angels-Rockies game in Los Angeles, California. And I was like, if I'm going to be here, this is the only other ballpark I've ever actually seen a game in, like, professionally, other than the Cardinals. So I'm like, well, I'm definitely going to get some memorabilia here. So I got a blanket, I got the cup, I got like my grandma, like a rally towel or something, which I should have known better because she's a diehard Cardinals fan, so she didn't even really want it, which, was short-sighted of me, but at the same time, like, yeah, I'm giving you something. But, I mean, it was just fun, the experience.
Cool. I didn't know if there was a story.
No.
Like, you're like, I'm a big Angels fan
No,
or whatever.
No, and they're not very good either, but I'm not a Dodgers fan either. I mean,
in fact,
I like
our teams, they've somehow still fumbled.
in the American League, I do like the Orioles, but, like, I'm always going to be a Cardinals fan first, That's not even a debate.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Good.
But
it's like
the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Yeah.
That's such an unnecessary long title, too.
There's some like, so we root for the Chiefs because they're they're local and they're good, and then
Some people do.
Yeah, and then yeah, everybody up in Columbia is feel like it's the Chiefs.
That's a little closer. I feel
it's pretty funny because we're like right in the middle, and so there's much less like where we grew up. It's like you like the Cardinals, and up there it's kind of like it's more Royals.
Yeah, it's kind of halfway.
So,
see that.
but like. When like the Chiefs lose, or like maybe like the Blues lose, or like any NBA team I'm a fan of, like they lose, it's like, oh, that sucks. When the Cardinals lose, it's like I feel like I lost. Like it just hurts for whatever reason. I don't know.
Well, you've been hurting for a number of years.
I
now.
know it's brutal. It's
because we grew up spoiled. We had great teams.
We did.
It's sad. That's like my dad. He would have been like 15 when they won their World Series and 82. Yeah, so. He would kind of talk about those teams, and I'll be talking about the teams that were stacked, from like 04 to 06, just like to my son. So I mean, all the time I was like, why can't we just get three guys that are like that again?
The first professional game I went to, I'm pretty sure it was Edmonds, Pujols, Roland, back to back. Hit home runs. Yeah. I'm like, that shit doesn't happen.
Edmonds is a great outfielder.
I know. He got shafted from the Hall of Fame. He should be in there. So Roland's in, the Pujols will be in. But he got
Edmonds was incredible as an outfielder. He was so fun to watch.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It's like we got spoiled. It's like, okay, well, at least get to go to the 30 minutes from where we live, and here's one of the top 5 players to ever live. And we're 10 years old. So
we get to go to see our local sports team, and they're the best team in the MLB.
Spoiled for sure. It was nuts. Yeah,
it's kind of how all these.
It was normalized for us though, so we're just expecting it.
Yeah, so all these Bostonians are feeling now with the Patriots. It's that's why all NFL fans are pissed off. It's no, you guys did not suffer long enough to get back to the Super Bowl again. Yeah. You guys were a dynasty for a decade.
It's what the heck?
Yeah. You went to 7 Super Bowls in 11 years or something?
The Patriots?
And now you're back again 10 years later? No thanks.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Nuts.
Or 9 years later, technically. It's we didn't get that lucky with the St. Louis Cardinals. It almost feels like it kind of feels like we're going to be in the pits for a minute.
I know. I'm trying not to get too optimistic. I'm excited about some of the young guys, but I'm trying not to get too excited about some of these guys, even though I'm big fans of them. It's just,
baseball feels like a bought and paid for kind of league.
It feels like a little more harder for the small market teams to win than it used to, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it's well, especially when you see the Dodgers will get two, after winning back-to-back World Series, they get Kyle Tucker, they get Edwin Diaz. It's like, oh my God, the rich just keep getting richer, It's like, it's wild. So, you got to make the most of good opportunities.
You got the richest owners in baseball, you're probably going to win.
Yeah, so, them, except for the Mets are struggling, but it's...
That's how the Yankees were for a long time. I mean, people like the Dodgers. I do agree with that because analysts and people will point that out. Is that the Dodgers are just doing what the Yankees did for a long time, which there's an argument for that too. But I would also argue that the Yankees would sign people in their latter half, like good years, a lot of the time. You know what I mean? They'd sign people. They're like, oh, you're 37. You used to be a big star. All right, you're hired.
Yeah, but it'd be like, we get Andrew Jones, Matt Holliday.
Matt Holliday, exactly.
All those guys at the very, very end and see what they can turn them into, or, David Justice or guys like that. But
I would argue, though, that the difference was at that point in time, baseball was hot. People were wanting to see baseball. There was these home run hitters. Steroids were pumping for a while. It was like baseball was a sport that people were into and watching. It's not that way now. They make it hard to watch baseball, and viewership is down. And now you have
not for the big markets.
But now you have these big markets cornering the league. It's like, okay, if LA and New York are the places watching baseball, it's not going to last, because it's like, those are the markets and those are the people watching it. But it's like, if they keep winning it all the time and you make it hard for everybody in the entire middle of the country to even watch the sport, people are going to lose interest in it. It's inevitable.
You turn to me.
What do you think?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I've enjoyed some of the rule changes. Some of the rule changes I don't enjoy. I kind of like the idea of the pitch clock, but I don't like the idea of the pitch clock. But I like that it makes the game a little bit faster. But I think you lose a lot of the kind of cat and mouse game, that little dance that happens between the pitcher and the batter, and then. Not a fan of the extra inning rule with the runner on second at all. Not a big fan of that. And then
what is the rule again?
So it's the last out of the previous inning. They just start on second once you start extra innings.
No matter what.
Yeah. So
even if nobody was on base.
Yeah. So so they go back there. So they always so they start off, and that's like a pretty common rule in those select leagues, like when you're growing up and stuff, but to bring it to the MLB is kind of a bummer. At least it's not in the postseason, which is good, but I don't know, just doesn't really feel like the baseball we do.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It kind of feels like every league too. That's the kind of thing. Is no matter the sport, every professional league, when they make rule changes, it's always advantage to the offense somehow. So it almost makes it feel like, statistically, these athletes from the 70s through the 2000s were better because they played in a more competitive league, because things weren't shifted as much into their advantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a lot of these new kind of rule changes just in some of these things. Yeah, like you said, just kind of get more runs, or
they're facilitated to produce more offense.
Yeah.
And all the leagues that have changed it that way.
Yeah. And I don't know enough about hockey or football to kind of comment on that, but
also to draw ratings and get things moving. The same way they introduced the DH in both leagues, the same reason, you know what I mean? They made the pitch clock, the larger bases, the we were just talking last week about during the draft episode about how they are doing the call challenges for the strikes and the balls and the umpire and all that, which is definitely different than the way we grew up in seeing that. And like one of our friends' like argument was just sometimes the imperfections like help make the game in ways, like, you know what I mean, like where you don't know, oh, it was close, it was this, you know.
Yeah, and
it's part of the live experience of the calls on the fly.
Yeah, it's it almost kind of talking, not to sound like an old man, but sometimes like I feel this way about some like singers now, like they're almost like too good, like too polished, and like sometimes like some of these guys like from the 80s and 70s and stuff, it's like they're not as perfect as these guys, but they have a little bit more like kind of grit to them. Like you can feel it a little bit more.
Well,
some
it
of that.
also feels like that's because my brother, he's all into audio engineering. That's what he went to college for and stuff. It's like, it's because how far audio engineering's came that it's like they sound so crisp in the studio that it almost feels like it is a production when you listen to it. Whereas like a 70s rock band, even if they're in the studio recording it, it kind of sounds like a live session, like they're in there rocking out, because just the audio quality, it's 50 years different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's
things felt a little more raw.
Yeah, something about the just new stuff, just a little bit different. Yeah. What do you think about? What did you guys come to talk about with the balls and strikes? What are you guys' opinion on that?
Whenever we decided on it, I said, like, if it's only a few times a game, because like the NFL, there's challenges that you can ask for, like you know, plays that you're like, oh, that was close, like I'm gonna challenge it. But there's got to be some sort of limit, because you can't be challenging every ball and strike.
Yeah,
you know what
and I think there is it two. Are they
Yeah, I think
two?
what is it, 2 or 3?
Yeah,
or
so
for a game though.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, and that's
that's reasonable.
But if you get it wrong, then it's gone. But I mean, they've been pretty good about being able, like, I guess, kind of saving their challenges from what I've seen. And it's kind of cool. Like we went to a game the other day to kind of see it live, because you get to like look up on the big jumbotron and figure out if they're wrong or not. So that's kind of cool when you're like, yes, it's for us or whatever. But no, it's different, and it's interesting to see what that'll do to like catchers, like framing pitches and stuff. Because they used to be able to take balls and move them into strikes and stuff, and see if that art gets lost at all. Because that's one of those fun nuances that you have. It's like that's kind of what makes the game, and stepping off the mound and stepping out of the batter's box and back in. And
in the argument last week, like whenever we talked with our friends Ricky and Justin, was like, is it more important that we get every play perfect, or is it important to like keep the game in the way that we've always known it? But that's the argument between the traditionalists and the people that want to advance it in ways.
I kind of do feel like that is part of baseball, though. Kind of like we were like talking about with Ricky and Justin is. And you were saying with the catcher moving the glove around, it's like too with the pitcher, like part of being a good pitcher was working the strike zoning, making the batter chase you, and like that was how you pitched, was getting the batter to chase. Kind of, it wasn't to throw a perfect pitch in the strike zone. That's how you got hammered.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Like that one. The Pujols smoked off of Brad Lynch.
Oh man, yeah, I think that
ruined his career.
I know.
It was like the worst moment of his life.
I know. I got a picture of that in my office. Yeah, it's the best. I know that Freeze's home run was more important and led to a World Series win, but that'll still be my favorite. I was like, I'll never forget that.
He
just
sent him into retirement.
300, like damn, you're probably 400 some feet.
Yeah, no.
It's just awesome knowing what Pujols became. That it was him. That it was just like, see ya.
Yeah, it was. I know. I watch that clip all the time. It's pretty funny. The announcer's like, he threw a slider, but it was not a good slider. Is what he says, and he just smokes that thing. It's pretty crazy.
It's insane because he came out and he's like, Brad Lynch, all right, let's shut this shit down. It's like, see ya.
The Killer Bees. That was that era, the Astros. When they were like dominant.
Speaking of teams that were so good.
Badwell, Biggio, Berkman.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Carlos Beltran was on that.
Brutal.
And then they have Roy Oswald, Roger Clemens.
That was oh my god. That's not even fair, dude.
No, it's not.
They were a good team.
That was a bad. That was
we beat them.
That was over the Astros in the fucking National League too.
No. Yeah, I used to hate them. I used to hate them. And then I ended up
know.
At the end. So, but it helped that Berkman.
You liked him after they sold the signs and all that?
No, I didn't like that. I like
That's what made me like.
I like the National. I like the National League Astros now, but Yeah, no, I used to hate him, and then I think it helped that Berkman and Beltran came over and played for us for a few years. But,
that was awesome, honestly. That they did, and Bergman smashed one of those home runs too. That was the great. Like nobody's gonna convince me. Like that was the greatest World Series of all time. 2011. Come on,
so good.
Come on, that was surreal.
Yeah.
That was the era, though, too, whenever I was, like, invested in baseball.
Yeah.
I kept up with the postseason, and it's a lot harder now. I feel like I still like baseball. I still respect it, and I like to keep up to a level. I follow all the baseball stuff on, like, social media and stuff, and I know who the stars are, the season stuff, but I don't watch it anymore like I used to, you know? Having a long time, it feels like, at this point.
We were talking about... not talking about the good old days too much, but it doesn't apply to Cardinals baseball because we're distraught. We're distraught right now.
I'd rather talk about that history than like high school for 2 hours.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
But no, it's definitely. It was just magical during that time. Like, and we can put it into perspective because we haven't been spoiled that way, and. Sometimes you just wish you were in that time, like, or they had the stars like they have now, because it just feels like our team's been like just depleted for a while. You know? No,
it was funny. It's like they always figured out a way to just come through somehow, and it was
it wouldn't even make sense. We'd have we'd always have Pujols and people like a few people like that, but it's like it felt like we were measurably. Just the underdogs in several of the big series we were in. Like every time we'd eliminate the Dodgers from the division series, it was like their stars way outmatched ours, but somehow we were able to pull it off.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. It was a special time. It was fun. I love Al. He's my favorite athlete of all time. So I got like 3 of his like pictures in my office and my things, all that. So my office looks like Albert Pujols, not like this. So
but no, he's the man.
Yeah,
the machine.
Yeah, bummer. I was like I'd watch him play forever. So,
that swing was just flawless, too. It just looks so clean. It's
I used to try to do stuff like that, but I'm like I weigh like 50 pounds. I'm like I can't. I don't have the torque, but
I feel like every kid that even attempted Little League baseball in Missouri at that point in time was like, let me see if I can. Got the bat.
And then you swung left-handed, your arm went up way high like Jim Edmonds. And I was like, everybody that tried to do that Yadier Molina thing where you catch and try to pick the guy from first base, and you're like, man, Yadier Molina throws so hard because you're never anywhere close if you throw it.
Yeah, I saw there was
just smoke in the pitch.
There was a stat. There was a stat even near the end of his career that was like. The people that tried to steal on everyone else versus Yachty was like cut in half.
Yeah. No.
It was like not even close.
Yeah. It was, it's like don't even
Yachty was the best defensive catcher by a mile.
Yeah. No, it was I don't know, it was crazy and fun. Then I feel old because I'm like, I remember when Yachty was coming up, you know? So
I remember the Matheny era.
When
he was still there at the Old Bush Stadium.
Yeah, I remember when we traded for Wainwright. He was in the minor leagues, and it's like, man, I am old.
I know, we get to watch like their whole career. That's how it feels like watching wrestling, how it feels when watching that. You're like, man, you've seen people's whole careers play out now.
Seeing all the guys we grew up with retiring now, it's like, I'm getting old.
Yeah. It's like you'd see those, like when you were young, you'd see like Ric Flair and stuff, and you're like, well, not really muscular anymore, you know? He's kind of like, you know,
he was the older generation.
Yeah. And now it's like, oh man.
Now it's the youngins that you grew up on.
It's like they're like the old guys now. I'm like, oh man, we're getting old.
I'm my parents.
Yeah, I know. It's like they keep their shirts on a little more when they're wrestling. It's like, damn. Yeah. So, it's
It felt like for the longest
shirts on a little more.
It felt like for the longest time, like we weren't gonna age out of that. Like you just got used to. Oh yeah, of course Pujols is still playing. Of course Wainwright's still playing. Of course Yachty's still our catcher. Of course John Cena and Randy Orton are still wrestling.
That's the weird thing.
You're like, oh, you know, but then it just gets to a point where you like mortality kind of settles in. You're like, oh dude, yeah, they're getting old.
Yeah, no, it's weird. Yeah, because I feel like this group of people we grew up with are like the only group to really do that, because it's like Yachty and Pujols and like Derek Jeter, people like that played for so long. It's like LeBron and Kevin Durant are still playing. It's like I don't know. It's just and like, you know, people like Tom Brady and you know that kind of like. I mean, that's not really you know, super common as you look across time. So I wonder how many like are we gonna be watching Patrick Mahomes until like 2040
Probably,
or like
with the way sports medicine is advancing, with the way like stem cells and all this other shit, like these dudes are gonna be around in their mid-40s now, like especially quarterbacks, because quarterbacks are protected.
Yeah.
So it's like,
unless you're the Bengals.
That's true.
or the Chargers, or a number of these teams where it's just Justin Herbert too. I feel terrible for that guy. He's such a good quarterback, and he just gets no time to show it.
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
The situation of ending up on the team you're on, you know.
So what's it like coaching college?
That's what I was gonna say. You're a coach.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's been really exciting. Didn't think this would be the kind of path that I was going to be in when I was like coming just into my life, and then have kind of just we talked about this kind of before. Just kind of steps have happened for me in the right way, where I felt like I kind of got myself ready to do something like this, and it's been, you know, really fun. Schedule's been just kind of, you know, really cool, and just a really kind of fun thing to do, honestly. So, what kind of questions you have about that?
So you're the women's basketball.
Yeah, I'm the head women's coach at Columbia College.
Yeah.
So this will be. I just finished up year 2 of being the head coach. It was year 5 total at Columbia College. I was at St. Louis Community College just before that. I was at Westminster for 3 years before that, and I kind of started at SEMO, kind of getting into this whole thing. So that's kind of been my journey in reverse. So kind of been in different kind of places like that. I can tell the whole thing if you want. I don't know. So,
whatever you want to do, honestly.
I don't know. So yeah, I was at SEMO, and I was just going to school, and I kind of told you before they were giving out kind of free gear and stuff at SEMO practice to kind of be a practice player. And at Division I level, they have men come in and play against the women. And I was like, this is going to be, you know, it's going to be easy. Just go in there and dominate, whatever. And they're really good. And they're really strong, and they're, you know, really structured. And that was really kind of a cool wake-up call to be like, oh, this is a different level of basketball than I was used to, and got to think about it in a different way. And so that's kind of how I got into that. And so the first year I was just a practice player, which was really fun. You're just on the scout team. No one cares if you do well or not. You're kind of just trying to exploit things in the offense and defense, which is really fun. And the next year I got to be the manager. They let me be the head manager, which was also just like really cool. You get to do stuff in the office, help with like some workouts and scouting reports and things to a certain extent, because I'm like number 12 on that list of, you know, staff members, because at the Division I level they have a ton. And then the kind of assistant coach that there's a couple assistant coaches that really helped me out, but one of the ones that really got to help me out went to Westminster, and I kind of followed him and got to be an assistant there at the Division III level. And it was the opposite. There was like 2 or 3 of us that were there every day, so we had to do everything. So it was like I'd set up the music for pregame, and then go help with warm up, and then run over and start the national anthem, and then get back and get dressed for the game and do all that stuff. And I was there for a few years. We were successful when we were there, and then COVID hit, and I was like, I don't know what basketball is going to be like, so I ended up moving back home. I worked at the hospital there in Crystal City, Festus at Mercy for a little while. I was helping at St. Louis Community College a little bit, and then got a call to come up to Columbia to be an assistant there. So it was pretty cool. And Columbia is a really kind of storied kind of program in the NAIA, so it's been kind of cool to be around that level of success and just people who can really play. So it's been pretty fun.
I had a little cameo.
Yeah.
He's interested.
Yeah.
He's into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a journey for you, I guess, the last several years, huh?
Yeah, I was Cape, and then back up to Fulton, and then back down to St. Louis, and then back up to Columbia. And so this will be the beginning of year 6 for me. So some of the kind of cool things that have been exciting about that, you know, we're just the first year I was there, it had been a while since we'd won a conference tournament, and we had done that the first year. The next year we got to win the conference tournament and win the regular season both times. And then when I got to take over as the head coach, there was a lot of pressure, because like we just won 3 championships in a row. Ended up doing the conference championship, or the tournament championship, which was great. And then this past year we had a really great season. Ended up going back to the national tournament and getting to the second round, which is something we hadn't done in a real long time. So
that's an accomplishment there.
Yeah, so that was really cool. We were 31-2, which was really cool.
Yeah.
I've never been a part of a team that had won 30 games. We won 20 when we were in high school, and the other levels we've gotten close, like at SEMO and at Westminster, and then we won 25 games the few years before and kind of creeped up, and then it kind of came into thought where I was like, well, we can get 30. That's kind of crazy, because a lot of teams don't win 30.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool for sure. So I don't know how much you guys know about just kind of like that level of basketball or what, but
probably not too much.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's pretty wild though. 31 wins.
Yeah.
So you've had some
2
success
losses.
as a head coach.
Yeah.
You've been head coach for 2 years.
Yeah, it was cool.
I
yeah.
saw the post that they made for you on there, and I was like,
I saw you won like coach of the year for the conference or something like that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And I think part of that was just like our team success. We had a kind of a down year in the conference a little bit. There was a few games where we were really pushed, and Stevens College is in our conference, who was really good and pushes us both times we played them, and then we played Williams Baptist, which is a school in Arkansas, kind of in the Jonesboro area, and they're really good. They won like 25 games. It's just one of those things where we kind of just had their number, I guess, this year, and we're able to kind of get them those couple times that we played them. So to do that, and sometimes when you're able to kind of have a record like that, those things kind of happen for you. So that was exciting. It was cool because I'd never been I'd been like all conference and all district for like track and cross country and stuff, but not for I wasn't really a great basketball player. I was doing I was able to help and do stuff with the team and all that and like baseball, but it was cool to like get an award. It was like, oh, people voted for me for this. In track you just kind of get it. Like I got in the top 4, so it's like I'm all district. But for that that was pretty cool. So that's kind of been what I've been up to for the past few years or so. So.
Yeah, that's.
Well, it sounds like you've had a lot of success.
Yeah, hell of an accomplishment. Yeah. Coach of the Year award.
Yeah, no, it's
congratulations.
It's been cool. Thanks, I appreciate it. So yeah, and it's you get chances to do cool things like this too. So.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. No, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty cool. You sound like you've had a definitely a very memorable time, and just. You've had a lot of success just doing that, and like the coaching, is working out and everything, and you've been
kind of
well on your way.
Work too,
yeah,
like
100%.
Manager and assistant, bounce around to different colleges.
Yeah, those things are. Yeah, it's really the first few years, and if anybody wants to do this, that ends up listening to this, it's tough. The first few years, you just kind of have to power through it. Those first couple years isn't about it's more about do you like this, and it looks different than people think it does sometimes. Like a lot of people think it kind of just show up and it's like you just go to practice and yell and do whatever, and then you get to go to games and win or lose or whatever happens, and it's a lot more of planning and kind of things like that, and things we always do we're like these are days that people who want to coach, they should come to work on these days, because it's like a lot of like inventory and organizing and boring planning and stuff like that to make things look kind of easier on the day and things like that. And it's also kind of cool too, because we had coaches when we were growing up, and I'm like, I didn't realize I did all this work, so that's kind of good perspective to have on just some teachers and things in the
other side of the equation, rather than being the athlete or the coach.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool too, because I always really enjoyed the coaches I had growing up in junior high and high school, and then especially when I got to college, I got to learn under them. But it was really kind of cool to realize that I didn't have very many bad coaches, so that was also cool. And there wasn't very many coaches that I was like, I can't take anything from them. So that was just an exciting part of being able to plan. There wasn't like a part of my life where I was like, well, I can't really take things from this point in my life and use them in practice or things that I'm doing. It's like, well, I can use things from kind of all the teachers and things that I've had in my life. So yeah, that's been a kind of a big, kind of cool part. So I said too much. I got quiet. It got quiet right.
No, you're fine. We can have a nice, couple seconds
digestion moment.
Yeah.
Catching us up on your journey here.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. This is all part of our journey.
Yeah. What kind of? We're at the NAIA level, so it's like kind of D2-ish level. So there's some D2 teams we can compete with, kind of in that area. I'm not sure how many schools you were familiar with that kind of do that. Missouri Baptist is one of them. William Woods are kind of the big ones people know. Harris Stowe, and those are kind of like the ones that are local here that people would kind of really have a good idea about. So those are kind of some teams that we're playing.
Has it been pretty fulfilling to you to be doing everything you've been doing?
Yeah, it's been fun. This last year was actually more stressful than the year before. The first year I was kind of like, I don't know if I can do this, move over a seat and do all those kind of things. I always say this about becoming a parent. You understand your parents a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
When you become a head coach, you're like, I understand my head coach a little bit more because he was like stressed about all these weird things. And I'm like, why is he worried about this? And you move over a seat and you're like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
People are looking at you when you make decisions, all those kind of things. So first year I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And we ended up winning I think it was the first 18 games we won. So we started off 18-0, which was really kind of like, oh, I can do this. And it was cool. We dropped one we probably shouldn't have and kind of grounded me a little bit. And I'm like, okay, now you kind of need to get back to business and kind of refocus a little bit. And that kind of helped us finish out the year. Then this year, you start racking up wins like that where it's like you've won 19 in a row, 20 in a row. It's like, oh, that's pretty stressful, just.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I can imagine it actually being a little more stressful when you have a really good team.
Yeah, it's like,
coach.
Yeah, there's some times like that where it's like, well, you really can't drop this one. Like you watch these teams play where it's like, just like, especially like in the NFL, there's not that many games. So it's like when somebody really good drops a game, it's like, that's a big deal, So, but sometimes you get in those spots where you're like, oh, if I drop this one, that's a big deal. So
you feel like you take a little more responsibility. Like you're like, man, I don't want to let these girls down. They're good.
Yeah, no. And I have I have 17 on the team this past year, and they're all great kids, and that's part of the thing that's really exciting about being able to coach them and be a part of the whole thing is like, they work really hard, so you got to work hard for them.
Yeah.
So that's part of the thing that kind of keeps you motivated and going through some of those things. And I've been lucky enough to not lose very often, so those things hit really hard too. So it's like when you do get into that spot, you're like, dang, what can I do to get us to the next level or kind of over the hump or just motivate us a little bit more the next couple of weeks, if you end up dropping one of those. So, no, it's a good question for sure.
Whenever you're winning, yeah, I definitely think, it definitely feels like you would have to, what kind of stuff, I feel like you'd be asking the question, what do I got to do to stay on top and make sure this is the way things keep rolling? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's, that's
because you don't want to get too, complacent in your victories either.
Yeah, no, it's there's sometimes where it's like it gets real same. Like you don't want practice to feel too much like it's the same. You don't want things to feel too different either. So it's kind of a nuanced thing there. We got pretty lucky. A lot of our teams in our conference play pretty different. So it was like sometimes people are pressing, sometimes people are doing zone stuff. So it's like we kind of got to do some different stuff to kind of keep us motivated. And also when you get to like a real, when you have real high level athletes, sometimes that fall off isn't there as much either. So it's like they're ready and motivated. And I had 3 seniors this year that really, kind of helped carry us through that. Games that would be like more boring or whatever, just to kind of go out there and kick some butt and dominate. So,
That's what's probably good about being a college coach, though, is every one of the girls that are there. It's like they're good and they want to be here because it's college sports now. It's not like high school, where it's not. You're not getting that level of motivation out of everybody on the team. I'd imagine it's probably a different level of motivation in college.
Yeah, that's a good point, and people don't always realize that either. So some people that play in high school just to play, like they've been playing their whole life and
be part of the team.
Yeah, it's like
they just made the team.
Yeah, it's like I've been playing
practice.
Yeah, it's like I've been playing baseball my whole life, so I'll just keep playing baseball, or something like that, or volleyball or softball or whatever. So people just kind of get into that kind of mode, and there's not really like that. You have to make a choice to go play college basketball, so that's really cool. And then also everybody there is, for the most part was an all-state kid or, best player on their team. So it's cool to be at practice and kind of see that kind of level of talent and stuff. It's been just fun and cool.
Yeah, it's like less programmed and more purposeful. Because they're like, no, I'm striving to be the best.
Yeah, that's that's cool. And there's also a lot more time to do things with players. Like when you're in high school, it's like your schedule's kind of made for you. It's like, especially if you play sports, it's like, wake up at 6 and get to school, and then you're gonna get home at 6 and you got homework. So it's like your whole day's kind of planned for you. And like in college, there's a lot more free time to kind of do some stuff during the day and kind of be active.
And you're on campus, so you have the time, and you know what I mean. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, yeah, man, that's I'm glad it's worked out as well as it has for you.
Yeah, it sounds like you found some success for sure.
Yeah, no, it's been cool. It's been exciting. Didn't know I'd be here doing this. I wouldn't have thought I'd been here, especially like 15 years ago. But it's been cool and
31-2.
Yeah,
damn.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, it was fun. Yeah, it was. We played. We ended up we won the first game of the national tournament, played pretty well. And the next game we played, and when they play in women's basketball, you go in like pods. So like you play like, like a 4-game little pod before you go into like the Sweet 16 basically. So it's hosted by, the top seed. And so we played the number 3 overall seed in the nation on their home court, and they were really good anyway, but that was just kind of tougher just being over there, and they ended up winning the whole thing, like the whole national tournament. So if we're going to lose to somebody, I'm glad we lost to them, but we played them in the second round, and it was the first matchup of 2 30-win teams, like men or women, like in the nation this year, so that was kind of cool to be like part of that game. So and like I said, I've never been a part of a team that won 30 games, so it was
Did you do something special when they won 30 games, or did you try to not make it feel that special?
No, we didn't try to do anything too crazy. We try to always like internalize like after the win, just be like, this is kind of our thing, and then, do that for a day and then kind of get back. The 30th win was actually the win where we won the conference tournament again, so I guess we kind of did like our celebration thing where we got like ice cream and stuff like that, and then the next couple of practices were pretty easy, so I made it look like it was going to be hard, and then we ended up playing like hide and seek and stuff in the gym. So you end up getting like a week and a half off when you're playing at that time, just like in the national tournament. It's so weird. You're just kind of sitting there waiting to see who you play. So that's kind of what we end up doing there, but nothing too crazy.
Well, now you go to your grave saying you're head coach to 31
Yeah,
team.
no, that's nuts. Yeah, it's fun. It's cool, and then when you get to it's cool, but then also you look at other coaches that have been doing stuff for a long time. So like Gino, who's the coach at UConn for the women, it's like, man, I wonder how many times he's done. My first year I won 28 games. I'm like, that's really cool. I wonder how many times Gino's done that. Well, he's won 28 games every year since before I was born. I was like, oh dang. So it's different levels of success, and trying to get there, because I'm like, wonder how.
There's levels,
Yeah, I know. So it's kind of cool to kind of be in those.
I think one day you'll be the head coach of the UConn.
I don't think so. I don't think so. That's a big jump, but it'd be kind of cool to be at a different level, or do a
D1 or something.
Yeah, no, it's different. It's different to be at different levels and kind of explore what those things look like, because they look different for everybody else. So, like the Division I level is really busy. So like they'll start moving in for next year, like in like a month or so, like beginning of June when they start moving in. That's when their season kind of starts. It's basically year round, so it's really busy. My little brother Mark, he was a GA at the University of Idaho last year, and they're just real busy. And he was like, they had a bunch of GAs and managers and stuff. And even when you're on a staff of like 10 or so, it's just intense and a little bit busier. So it'd be something different, it'd be cool, But I was at that level, and I like where I'm at right now for just at least a little bit longer. So it's been cool.
Yeah, you still got things you can do and achieve at the level you're at.
Yeah. No, it's good. I like the situation I'm in. I like the town. It's really cool. There's a lot of places in our area that are like or our like conference and teams we play that are kind of in small towns. Those kind of just places. But like being in Columbia, it's like it's cool to be able to go watch a Mizzou football game on Saturday, and then kind of go back to being a small school on Sunday for us. So that's what we kind of like, and we're just down the road from them. So so that's just a cool little bit of recruiting that we can do there for sure. Yeah. It's all the boring stuff I'm talking about. This is all
it's not boring.
This is all the boring stuff about.
This is honestly, this is what we wanted to know.
Yeah.
Some of this stuff.
Yeah.
This is all stuff I wouldn't know unless you were talking about
them
it.
kids
Anyway.
from Mizzou,
Oh yeah, no, I wish. Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's it'd be nice to get over there and play a scrimmage or something. That'd be kind of cool, just to kind of do a thing over there, and it'd be fun for the town and all that. So they got a new coach over there, and then obviously the men's team's been good. The football team's been good. Before I moved to Columbia, I was kind of like not really a big Mizzou fan. Like I was like lukewarm on them. Like everybody just likes them because we're here, which is weird because I like the Blues, I like the Rams, I like the Cardinals. So I don't know why I was like that with Mizzou. But when I moved there, it's like the football team, like the year I got there is when they started getting like, they were beating Georgia and all that stuff. And it was like this is really cool. You can feel it in the town. Like it's just kind of a fun vibe to be just kind of around and drive down Broadway and see everybody partying and stuff. It's like, this is just cool.
Yeah.
So,
I remember growing up as a kid when the football team had like Chase Daniel and Jeremy Macklin and like those guys on it, and we were really good. and I got into them then. But yeah, it's like we went, you went to at least the one with you. I think I went to like a couple games down there, like for homecoming weekend and stuff. It's a good vibe. It's fun for sure. Yeah, like we were down there when I think Drew Locke was the quarterback at the time. When we saw the homecoming game, one of our buddies was going to college there. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely neat because it almost feels like that's like it's a college level team, but like to Columbia, it's like that's their team.
Yeah, no, it's everything is in Columbia is like Tiger Cleaning or Tiger Dentistry or Tiger Pediatrics. It's all Tiger stuff. So that's kind of cool to kind of be in to kind of see that kind of stuff. But it's like all the surrounding areas is kind of like St. Louis. It's like, they're all like they flock to kind of like Columbia stuff. It's like we flock to St. Louis stuff, where we're from. So it's kind of like that a little bit up there. So
it's like college town.
Yeah, no, it's great. And then you get in the summer and everybody moves out, so it's kind of nuts. So
yeah.
So I know when we first moved there, it was like it was 2021, and they were like the COVID numbers went down a whole lot in December. I was like, that's because 40,000 people moved out. So that was kind of funny to kind of see that. So, but yeah, I think that's all I got on that really. But
I was gonna say we're a good like hour 11 in.
I was about to say. I was
wondering to take a little break.
Yeah.
And come back in. We'll come back with the segment. The good, the bad, and the shits. We'll talk some more about everything.
That sounds good, man.
And we got Matt Moore on episode 227. Stay with us. We will be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Casting the Spotlight, episode number 227, featuring Matt Moore and his podcast debut. How's it feel?
It's good. I think we got to be the only podcast in the nation this week that'll probably open with Thunder Island and have the AC/DC from 2000 in the middle. So
I guarantee you that. But anyway, I know there's probably going to be some people listening that have never seen this segment. So after the first hour or so, generally we could move on to the segment called The Good, the Bad, and the Shits. Bret Hart helped influence that name in ways because of a shoot interview he did one time. But anyway, so in this segment, we'll rate things on a scale of overrated, underrated, or fair, whether we think it's that based on whatever the perception of said thing is. Say if like somebody said the St. Louis Cardinals, well, what do we think? Are they overrated, underrated, or fair?
Yeah.
And, you just kind of take it, but it's like, what is the perception of them? And so for this segment, we always kind of have a discussion over whatever the thing is we throw out. We've had, hundreds of different things from guests and from us over the years on here.
Well, cool. I'm
excited. I was going to say, so you understand the premise.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think I'm ready to
go. Okay.
Yeah.
Should I throw mine out first then?
I think so. I've been waiting for it. What we got
here? I've been waiting for it. Here's the thing. Okay, I remember. I don't know why my phone's being weird about that. But, so, obviously protein, tremendous, makes you feel great, you need protein, right? But obviously we've all probably noticed lately that there's this huge protein craze in like atypical products. They're like, oh, we're going to put 8 grams of protein in these Pop-Tarts. We're going to put 11 grams in this water. It's like in all this shit that it's never really been in before. Like, and people aren't just getting it from their meats, from their vegetables, from their like nuts and like all that stuff that actually is like, kind of good protein. But it's like, my question is, what do you think about the protein craze as of late? Because that word's plastered all over everything now.
I think it's got to be overrated if it's something that's so prevalent. It's pretty wild.
But it's in weird things. And that's honestly, the good, the bad, and the shits in total is the protein craze surrounding atypical like protein products.
Yeah, no, that's
not your typical meats, nuts, and like all that sort of stuff that we're used to it coming from. Yeah. I mean, like all the stuff that they're just like, if we put this word on all this will sell this product better because they've noticed that the consumer is going after high protein snacks and drinks or other stuff like that.
Yeah, and I probably need to watch what I eat more, but when I think about things like that, I'm like, that's not something that I'm thinking about when I'm looking to just get something to eat. It's so weird. And also, like, I don't know what like a good amount of protein should be. So like when they tell me they're like there's however many milligrams of this in this Pop-Tart or fruit snacks or whatever, I'm like, I don't even know if that's a good amount. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like Like,
yeah.
I mean, so there's some of those things. I'm like, the measurements
I'm
are
not
off
a
for me.
nutritionist. I don't know what my daily volume
Yeah,
is.
They say this is to put it in perspective. They say that if you're trying to add muscle, and I'm not saying like, but the typical person, if you're trying to eat that much protein, they're saying eat your body weight per day in protein, if not more. So if you're 150 pounds, like try to go for at least that if you're trying to add muscle. But if like you're just trying to sustain, like I don't eat my body weight in protein like grams wise every day or anything. But I know the better in my diet, like I'm gonna feel better even if I don't eat a ton of calories and carbs. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna be protein and it's gonna be good stuff. But it's just weird because they're like, well, this popcorn's got 8 grams and like this cereal's got. It's like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah, I know it's like
It just seems like you're adding it is like a word onto these, and it's in water and shit like that.
Yeah, I remember probably like we were talking about just things when we were younger. Probably when we were like 12 to 13, everything had cholesterol on it. You know, like everything was like talking about like what things that could lower. Yeah, everything that could lower your cholesterol. So that kind of feels like that's the new thing here, where I'm just like.
And fiber.
Fiber. Yeah, so I'm
yeah.
like, I don't know if that's the new thing or what, or I don't know. I mean, I know people do protein drinks and all that kind of stuff, but that feels more deliberate than like eating just,
It seems like now they're trying to appeal to everybody because like if they put that word on stuff, because they know just through analytics and research that people are hyper fixating on buying products that are higher in protein. So if they put that in more stuff and on more stuff, maybe it will sell to the more common person rather than the person that seeks out the protein. But because of the uptick in people that were buying high protein stuff, I just think that more brands are like, well, let's use this and let's put this word on everything to make it look like it's a little better for you than it probably is.
Yeah.
We'll point out the protein value.
Yeah.
No,
that's
because that'll make it look healthy.
I'm not sure.
That is exactly what it was.
I think it's also probably partially the fact that like there is people that cut out. There's more people than ever that cut out meats, and people that are going on all these different types of crazy fad diets and all this stuff all the time. So it's like a way to appeal to those people too, where it's like, oh, well, you're not getting your protein this way. You can get protein and your fucking Pop-Tart and your water. You know what I mean?
It just seems so weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad marketing, I guess. It's like I can understand the marketing behind it. Like we can here discussing it. We talked it out. We figured out probably multiple reasons why they do it, but it's still weird that it's like it's just the fad thing when it comes to diet right now.
So it is the new word, and just that they are fixating on.
Yeah,
and not that it's new, but it being plastered and everything definitely is.
I can't think I have any strong opinions on it more than I just think it's just kind of weird. It's just so prevalent for sure.
It's overrated, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a little overrated.
Yeah,
on
that's
that
the
as
thing I
well.
would go there for
But
sure.
yeah, just because I've noticed too, and like a lot of stuff, and like even just like shopping and looking for stuff, I'm like, I know based on the way I've always eaten and like meats and all that other stuff, I'm like, I know what's gonna be high in protein. Like, I'm not gonna just turn to this now because it's plastered on the box. You know what I mean? Like some stuff that wouldn't be a source for getting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just figured it was worth pointing out because I noticed the craze the last like 6 months or a year or so that it's been going on. But you gonna be up next?
Sure. Mine's.
Hope you're thinking over there.
I'm thinking.
Mine's a little bit of an off the wall one. It's just kind of like, what do you guys think about favoritism? And I know like favoritism gets a bad rep. There's like, if you're like a coach, you can't show favoritism. Like, but also I would argue that in certain aspects, it's not a bad thing to know what you want and what you like in certain aspects. So favoritism's not a bad thing there. Favoritism just becomes like a nasty thing whenever it's like it involves people. But personal favoritism's not really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just more personal preference, I think, to yourself.
Yeah.
You know? You're not feeling bad for the yellow shirt that you have because you picked the black shirt.
But I mean, like, if you're at a restaurant and it's like, you order the same meal a lot, you have favoritism towards that meal. But it's not as I don't know. Is it a bad thing? Because it's like you know you're gonna like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but you don't branch out to the other things.
If I go to a restaurant more times than not, I'm going to get something I've already gotten before, and sometimes that drives my wife nuts, and I'm like, well, that's just what I want to eat. You know, I'm not trying to do something.
I don't think
crazy experimental.
I think it definitely is different with things and your personal preferences than it is with people and their favorite people. You know what I mean?
I mean, it can be seen like. If a grandma shows favoritism to one of the grandkids, like that's gonna hurt the other grandkids' feelings. So I guess it's like when personal feelings are involved in people, then I can see where that can be nasty.
I can see that. Sometimes you see this as a coach. Sometimes it's like a graphic that pops up, and it's usually pretty silly, I think. But I think it does kind of hold weight where it's like coaches have favorites or teachers have favorites as the person who listens and works hard or whatever or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that's true, but I mean, obviously you have to kind of talk to everybody and those kind of things.
Yeah.
So,
seems like it'd be hard to like. Not that they would necessarily be your favorite, because it is about the bond and everything you get with a player or a student or whatever too. But like, it seems like if you have a star player that's kicking ass for you out there, it's like
hard not to be the favorite.
Not seem like you were showing favoritism.
Well, it's tough. We talk about this when we get in the recruiting process, because everyone likes to act like you're going to be best friends, and I'm like, if you get 15 random people from all over wherever, I mean, they're not going to be best friends, and so if you have 15 people just from any walk of life, it's like not necessarily one that I'll gravitate towards, or one will gravitate towards me, or those kind of things. So
you gotta have team bonding exercises.
I know, we gotta do those kind of things. We gotta play top golf and all that fun stuff. So yeah. So I don't know. I would say it's fair. I would say fair, probably.
Stupid.
Spring.
Yeah. Because like the way it is done, I definitely, because like in certain instances too, it makes sense, like especially in that kind of situation.
Yeah, it seems like it's a fine balance of the line with a student or a player or something like that, to where it's like you want to show them praise and appreciation and kind of lift them up for being like, hell yeah, they're out here doing well. But you don't want to be like, strive to be them. They're a lot better than you.
Yeah, that's tough too. Because sometimes we have social media posts and stuff that go out all the time, and whatever people, if you score a lot, you're gonna be in the newspaper and all that kind of stuff. So those people tend to get a lot of recognition. So sometimes as a coach, you tend to try and give recognition to other players as well, which is also kind of a bummer. Sometimes you maybe not give the player who's the the star player as much recognition from you as they probably deserve too. So it's pretty interesting. Those kind of
trying to balance it all.
I know.
Yeah. So I thought it'd be kind of an interesting topic for you specifically, because I'm like, you're a coach, so
but for sure.
I would probably say fair then also. Yeah, I mean it makes sense, like when I think favoritism showed in a way that's like, okay, well this is actually like the truth, like this person did this amount of, you know what I mean? And with numbers, it's kind of hard to like get away from that, because if people, if you had a great game, if you had an exceptional game, better than other people, then it's kind of hard to like not give that person recognition. It doesn't mean that anybody else should be, their accomplishments shouldn't be like praised or anything either. But it's like if somebody had one of the great games of the year or of all time or whatever, it's like then they should absolutely get recognition for that.
Yeah.
Not just because it's not that you need to shun anybody else, but like, not praising them because you feel bad or that wasn't you is not right either, because it's like that's you and your feelings, like they actually accomplished this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like it'd be really hard if you were like, say like a football coach or something, because there's like with football there's certain positions that are super important to the success of the team, but they don't get noticed in a play.
Like a lot of the defensive positions.
And the linemen and like all those types. It's like trying to give them equal praise, because it's like they never get the star shined on them.
Actually, I was really excited for this. The defensive player of the year in our conference was from our team, and I was like, we had talked about her, how great she was for defense for us, but it wasn't like she was blocking a ton of shots or getting a lot of steals or even getting a lot of rebounds. It was more like scheme stuff and things that she was doing really well. And I'm like, she deserved it, but I'm like, just was like something that might not have happened unless, people just kind of were paying attention to what's going on. I mean, like, you don't really notice how important offensive line is sometimes until you see a bad offensive line, and then it's like, oh man,
the team's doing well.
Yeah,
then you're like, oh wow, they're doing good stuff out there.
Yeah. No, that's
It's probably why she got so recognized, because your team was doing really well this year.
No, that was part of it. I was like, if you guys think we played good defense, it's because of her. So that's kind of how I end up doing my thing there. Is it my turn? Do we just go one at a time, or do we? Go, do we go in a circle, or
or
do we go? You go again?
Yeah,
we're gonna do we'll do the 2 rounds probably
Okay,
each.
cool.
But you would be up next.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna have to word this. Make sure I explain it well. Trips. So like not vacations, but like trips, going like 2 places and doing things like while you're on those kind of things. Does that make sense? So like a vacation for
do you
me
mean
would
to
be-
trip like? Here's a distinction we could make. A trip can it be like a 1-day thing? I'm gonna go out there and do this and then come back, like, because that's kind of more of a trip.
I would say more.
I guess you
more
could
like
say
a
trip
week,
is a-
like a week thing. Like we're gonna go like backpacking. That's more of a trip for me. Or like I'm gonna go lay at the beach is more of a vacation kind of thing. So I'm talking about going. We're gonna go see a bunch of sites. We're gonna go hit a bunch of museums.
That sounds a little more local than a vacation does. Than like in a way, I guess.
Just getting out there.
Yeah.
Rather than having a destination that you're kind of
okay.
chilling at, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, I was trying to make the distinction to kind of ensure like what we're. I don't know. That's kind of interesting because that kind of goes with the whole
I would probably
impromptu
say,
thing.
yeah, I'd probably say a little underrated because I don't do it. I'm not really like. If I'm gonna go somewhere, it's pretty planned out, and it's typically a vacation. Like, oh, this is the destination. I might branch out and do stuff in the surrounding area, but it's kind of around there,
Yeah.
I'm not really like, oh, I'm gonna go hike this trail for this week and camp out there, And I mean, I think that's cool because there's a lot of adventure in that, and I like commend the people that do that. There's that one guy I watched on YouTube for a while, that dad, and he had his kid with him for a while that he'd bring on camping trips, and he'd like show you how to do everything on his own while he was out there, and make the fire and make the food and sharpen knives. It was just like cool stuff to watch, but it's like I'm probably not gonna
Yeah,
do
I was
it.
gonna almost say overrated because I was kind of thinking that because usually when I like to do things, I'm like I have like time off, I want to just like chill and do stuff. But also when you say things like that, I'm like, well, I also probably need to accomplish some more things outside of what I'm kind of doing, like go and explore some stuff and
Well, a trip just seems like it's kind of you could take a trip somewhere impromptuously instead of a full planned vacation. Like, we got the weekend off. Let's just go down to
research
wherever.
something for like a week, and you're like, this looks like it could be cool, and you go check it out if it's not too far for a few days.
But I might give that one a fair actually too.
Okay.
Like I think people still go on trips like quite a bit, stuff like little stuff like that outside of vacations, and it's certainly if you can afford to just go away for the weekend or for a few days, take a trip somewhere, go hiking,
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, I certainly love my chill time and my vibe and time, relaxing time at the house, but I could probably, in ways like stuff like that, I commend the people that do that because the spontaneity of kind of getting out there and just doing it,
Yeah.
People that are like, oh, I found this was just 4 hours away, so I took a road trip to go see it. I'm like, I would never do that.
Just 4 hours away.
Just 4 hours. Yeah. What you got?
That's Midwest. People in the Midwest are the only people that like road trip like that.
I've said this before too. Most times you ask someone from our area, you'll be like, or just like our region in general, you'll be like, how far of a drive is that? And it has to be like pretty far for someone to be like, to say that. Because usually you'll say like, like we're going on vacation next week, so we'll be like, oh, it's like a 12-hour drive, and most people say, oh, that's not that bad, you know.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost I was like, it's got to be probably like 16 before people are really like, that's a long drive, you know. Like it's a you know, so it's pretty. I was like, I don't know what it is about us that we just like to
Midwesterners, yeah, they can get down with a
we
road
just like
trip.
to drive. I drove today just for you know.
That's because they have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But we're kind of in the middle of everything. I feel like if you're on like the West Coast or the East Coast, you kind of have to fly if you want to go places.
Yeah,
Or like
that's
the
true.
Midwest, you're like, oh fuck it, we can drive to Texas.
Yeah.
You know, they're not doing that here in New York or.
No, I mean a lot of people there don't have vehicles either.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, unless you're going like cross country from one coast to the next, some people do that. Take the cross country trip. I would want plenty of time off though if I ever did that. I wouldn't want it to be too limited. You know.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be. Like,
It would be great to do it if you had like a full month off or something, because then you could just take a chunk in like the middle and just go
place to
wherever
place
you want to
and
go.
Yeah.
Spend a few days in this state, like travel through this one. But there's a lot of places I'd still love to go. You know, I've never been like in the Northeast area. I've been to like most other regions of the country though. Maybe not like the north kind of central of the country, like Montana or any of that stuff, like the Dakotas and all that stuff.
I think it'd be fun to be able to go to, say you've been to all the states, but I don't know what I'd do in every state.
I know,
So.
I sort of want to do that, but I've been to like 18 to 50, so there's a lot.
Yeah, it's
that
just
I
funny how
miss.
you kind of
You
stay
get
in your pockets and
You
stuff.
get to be an old retiree and you
Although
get an
it,
RV with the
RV, yeah.
wife and
That's what I was
just
about
drive
to
say.
state to state.
although 18 still is more than a lot of people have. Some people have only been to like a few states, you know.
Oh yeah, some people don't go outside
But-
that kind of area.
Yeah, it's no, they're fun. I enjoy going vacations, going on vacations, going to see different places and stuff too still. So I'd like to do it more or live there and then take trips to other places. Either way, you're going to want to, go to see different environments and, cities with different history and a lot of different stuff. Like what's one of your favorite vacations like you could take? Like what are some of the spots you like to
So
hit?
there, you get this question a lot. You get the beach versus mountains thing, and to me,
That's a weird just
to me, I'm much more beach. I think that those mountain trips are more like I can do that in a day. I can be like, I'm gonna walk up this thing and then walk back down. That's all I need for the rest of the year. And then some people are like, my little brother is like wants to hike up a mountain all week and take pictures at lakes and all that stuff. I'm like, I'd rather just lay here for 7 straight days and not move.
Be
that's
comfortable.
That's more like me. So beach stuff, those kind of things. And then I have on my bucket list, like, because I still am really into presidents and stuff, like going to the presidential library, which is the only, I'll be the only
That
person
would
that
be
thinks
cool.
that's cool. Yeah.
That
So,
would be cool.
but like my wife, we've gone to a couple of those, and she's like, she's so great at being a trooper through those things. I know she doesn't enjoy it as much as I do. So, she's just kind of being like, it's funny because we'll go to those things and she'll be like, she could spend 30 minutes, like, spend like 2 hours. So those are just a couple of cool things.
Like presidents and just history.
Yeah,
I
those are,
like
I love those. I've always kind of thought the stories were really cool, and just just how it kind of goes from just place to place. And
I still think it'd be cool to see like Mount Vernon and Monticello.
Yeah.
Like those would be neat destinations just because they're like super historic sites.
Yeah.
Like some of the founding fathers' homes that are still like in condition.
Yeah, it's nuts. And then you look back and you're like, they're not much older than us. A lot of them at the times they were doing stuff. So it's just kind of wild to think about them doing
Hey,
those things.
America 250 this year.
I know.
I saw this shirt. I'm gonna have to show you it. It's sick, but it's like George Washington, like looks like Hogan. He's like and then like Abraham Lincoln's like he's like savage or something. It looks. I was thinking about Oregon.
Perfect crossover.
Yeah.
That's great.
And it had so many other guys in it though, but I was like, man, I've always had a fascination with it. And like, if you have a wanting to learn about the history and the presidents, the wars, the dates, and like all the way things happen, like you end up a pretty good history student because you like to pay attention to all those things.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what got me into that. I think like probably when we were like kindergarten, maybe would have been kindergarten probably. Yeah, or first grade when like George Bush president's election would have been happening. Yeah, I think I was in kindergarten, so that would have been kind of happening the first one. So it was kind of like, you know, it was around a lot, and I don't know. So I get, for whatever reason, I like memorize the presidents like in order and kind of all that stuff.
Yeah, I had like a placemat as a kid with like all of them, and I would like
I was like, this is
them.
cool. I don't know why it's so cool. Then you know, it's like there's not that many of them either, so it's like one.
No, that's what's crazy is like, and some of them have been the same person.
Yeah.
Who is it? Benjamin Harrison and Trump were elected 2 different times.
Grover.
Or no, it's Grover Cleveland. Yeah, Cleveland. That's
I never got that.
So
Benjamin Harrison was in the middle.
So
of
there's
Robert
really
Cleveland.
only 45 men that have ever been actually elected.
Yeah, I don't know what made
But
me
it's
believe
like
that.
that's crazy that is all there's been because some of them did not even weren't even there for that long.
Well, yeah, you think of like
The guy that died in who is it?
William Henry Harrison.
William, for 31 days or something, 30 days.
Yeah, no, those we look at them and you're like, it's just cool to kind of see their story and how they got there. And
Multiple of them got assassinated and didn't
I
serve their time. So it's like, some of them did serve 2 terms, and like FDR served 12 years. Yeah. But like, it's still crazy that in all this time there's only been like that. To me, I don't know. It just doesn't. It's kind of like how the math doesn't math. We were talking about earlier with people. Wait a minute, you were born in 2007?
Yeah, it's like it doesn't make any sense.
You're like, what?
I know, that's so weird. Yeah, think about we're not really that old as a country. It's pretty crazy.
No.
Last couple presidents have been born like in the 40s, and it's like if you were 80 when they were born, I mean that takes you back to 1860s, and then you can be,
it's only like a few people a generation.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's crazy.
So, no, crazy.
Yeah. I need to throw mine out there, huh?
Yeah, what you got? What's your next one?
All right, well, since I don't know what you guys are going to say, and we can continue in this direction if anybody has anything to add, and I hope they do. So, obviously you see multiple posters up here.
Yeah.
Works of art.
Yeah.
In the Star Wars vein, right? So we're gonna throw one out there, and we can talk about the sequels. But I think tonight, because I've referred to the Disney era Star Wars on here just as like a topic. So I think tonight, as the topic, we're gonna say the George Lucas era Star Wars, but we can discuss everything with the sequels and stuff. But being that is everything that happened in those first 6 movies. The Clone Wars, all the stuff that happened before Disney, overrated, underrated, or fair. And obviously, deviating from that, we're going to have to talk about the Disney era Star Wars as well.
For sure.
So, you saw all of them. I assume you saw all of them in theaters?
I wouldn't have seen
at least the Disney era ones.
I saw the Disney era ones in theaters. I wouldn't have seen Phantom Menace in theaters. I was too young. I was like 4.
But I did 2 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been cool. I wish I would have done that. Yeah. And then I don't think I've ever seen any of the original ones like when they come back in theaters. Like I think those are like real cool just to go back and see those things and like. But no, I saw Attack of the Clones in theaters, and then Revenge of the Sith. I remember just the lead up to that being so cool. And especially at that point, you're like, what's going to happen, but you didn't know how it was going to happen.
Did you read the book too? I read the book before it came out because I couldn't fucking wait to see what happened.
I didn't. I remember seeing like the trailers and stuff and being like, I don't know what's going to happen. And it's so cool. And especially back then because you couldn't unless you read the book or something, but now you could look up like who's going to be in the cast and maybe spoilers or things like that. Like I didn't know. You just go in, you just kind of figure out, you kind of get the gist of what's happening. But at that point I was like 9, so seeing those ones, and I saw the Disney ones in theaters, obviously. So
Solo and Rogue One also.
I did see those in theaters.
We saw all of them.
Yeah, I saw that. I even saw me and my little brother would have seen the Clone Wars, the animated one. We saw that one in theaters too.
I didn't see that one in theaters.
Yeah, so.
I did watch whenever the first 2 episodes dropped in like 2008. I did watch those when they came out.
I can't think of what year that was, like 2008 or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember. So I think
the movie came out in 2007.
Okay.
And then I think the show debuted like October 2008.
Okay, yeah. So whatever year that, I think I got dropped off. Me and my little brother kind of walked in and did that. The George Lucas era, I would say is fairly. I would say it's fair. I would say, I don't know. I would probably say underrated at this point.
Because there's an argument to break this down. There's an argument that Star Wars was more special and of event milestone status when it was preserved to only, it's every now and then, and it is not, you never really get to see these, you know?
Yeah, and now there's not a break, there's always something going on, which is cool in one hand, but also it was kind of nice to just have, you know, big breaks.
I thought that after the Revenge of the Sith came out, I accepted for a very long time that was all the Star Wars we were ever gonna have. I had to accept it.
Yeah,
I accepted it.
I thought it was just gonna be TV shows and things like that, and it never occurred to me that they would do anything in the future with them.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, even though there was books and kind of.
I figured he would let his kids do something with Lucasfilm, or I don't even know. I didn't have an idea of it.
I don't know.
I didn't think they were going to do that, though.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, November 2012, you get that information. George Lucas sold it for $5 billion, and you're like, oh my god. And then they're like, and they're planning to make a new trilogy, and blah, blah. And you're like,
I know, that was nuts.
I can't even process this.
Yeah.
I've lived my last, fucking 7 to 10 years, however, thinking this was it.
Yeah, no, it was, I just remember, and it wasn't even that long of a time, honestly. It was 2005, 2012, but it felt like it was forever.
Yeah,
it
did.
We're not going to do it anymore.
No.
No, I would think, what do you think, Elijah? Overrated, underrated, fair?
Let's get into it.
It's beefy, because...
It is.
I feel like whenever people talk about the Star Wars legacy and, the mega fandom behind it, most of the people that are dressing up the conventions and are all into it, it's the George Lucas era of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the hate comes from the Disney era of it, you know? So it's it's got such a prestige and fandom and the history and lore of sci-fi film that it's almost hard, it's hard to say that it's underrated.
Yeah.
You know, even as a mega fan of it, because it is one of the most, if not the most, showered with love and fandom piece of sci-fi film.
Yeah, it's almost
American.
It's
film
almost
history.
kind of got a Beatles situation going on, where it's the Beatles are almost so overrated. You know, people think they're overrated, that they're underrated now, and so and especially if you didn't grow up on Star Wars, the hype to show someone new that is that it almost can't live up to that. When people listen to the Beatles and they haven't ever heard them before, it's well, this isn't as good as I thought it was going to be, and you're well, it's kind of you have to immerse yourself in it and be around it, you know. So
if it's you hear nothing but the hype and see nothing but the hype, and then it's nothing can kind of, I guess, live up to.
Yeah. So in that aspect, I'd say underrated, because I think that some people think it would be overrated. So especially those first three,
because a lot of more people would say, I don't really see this that often, that people saying Star Wars is overrated or anything, but I do see them criticizing the new projects and all that. Mm-hmm. But it's the whole perception of it could be different because of how much they've added to it post the George Lucas 6 Star Wars films, and then the Clone Wars series, and a few other projects, obviously, that he did.
I would say that.
So it's got such more of a body than it used to have.
Yeah, especially since the Rise of Skywalker, I was not as, not to spoil all my thoughts on all of them, but I was a huge, crazy, big Star Wars fan, and since then I've kind of been I like Star Wars now, you know. And I used to be this is my
fucking ruined it.
Yeah, this is my thing, and that kind of really brought it down to being oh man, it's not as special as it used to be. It kind of just feels
So you felt the same way about the event status kind of aspect of it being a little lost in the shuffle once they came out with so many projects.
I'm this doesn't need to be every year. It needs to be more every couple years, those kind of things. So
it almost felt like with the Rise of Skywalker, literally it, as wrestling fans, it felt like whenever they try to retcon a bad wrestling storyline and end up just making it worse. We're bringing this guy back, and it's why are you doing all of this shit?
I can just talk about. So I think all the original three, I think they're all perfect. I think they're great. I think there's nothing you can take away from them. I think I probably like 5 and 6 more. I think it's hard to watch Empire Strikes Back and not immediately watch Return of the Jedi. Just get done and just get to that next little bit. And I always forget how much until I get to Endor, I'm just get to keep watching that, and it's like, oh shoot, I've kind of watched the whole second part of this movie basically. So
yeah, like the whole second act is like Endor, or a lot of it is.
And so it kind of takes a little, just kind of a little bit to rest there, but obviously still really good. And I'll do that all the time because they'll be like on like TNT or something.
Man.
Yeah.
They worshipped C-3PO.
Yeah.
The third act of Return of the Jedi was like perfect.
Yeah.
It was like perfect. So like it ended perfectly, that movie.
Yeah. No, I loved it.
With the Force Ghost coming back and like them triumphing over the Empire. That's why immediately the tough thing to swallow whenever the sequels were announced and they were going to make another trilogy, 7 through 9, we had to accept that Star Wars was going to have a different ending.
Yeah.
Which is hard to swallow because of the way Return of the Jedi ended.
Yeah. From
that duel from Darth and Luke to like Palpatine being at the helm of it, he was such a prick in that one too.
I remember thinking about people we were trying to like talk about what was going to happen. I was like, I almost don't want to think about what's going to happen because I want to be surprised. Like some other projects and things like Marvel movies and things you want to talk about and figure out what's new and what's going to happen next. But for that one, I was like, I almost kind of want to be surprised because I can't even think of what would be a good idea or a bad idea for a new Star Wars trilogy. And but yeah, and then when the prequels came out, I really liked Phantom Menace. I think I liked it a little bit less than I did when I was a kid. And then Attack of the Clones, I go back and forth with because I don't think I love all the Anakin Padme stuff. But I love all the Obi-Wan on
the Jedi battle is sick too.
I know. So when I've rewatched that one, I think they're all great. Those are all great. But I rewatched that one. I'm always kind of like, can we just get back to that? That's how I was with a little kid too. It was like, can we skip the all the stuff on Naboo and all that? So, but yeah, all the Jedi stuff. And then Revenge of the Sith is great. It's just it's awesome. And it's just really good. Did you guys ever watch the animated like the 2D Clone Wars show?
I did. That only was like a couple episodes. They were kind of like lengthy, but they're on Disney.
Yeah, I've seen them on.
I loved those when they came out, and that's the same guy that did like Samurai Jack and stuff. And I loved that one.
Yeah, Ahsoka looks just like that animation.
Yeah, Ahsoka was in those, wasn't she? Because she was made. She was actually like a Dave. George Lucas and Dave Filoni like made her, but. Yeah, I thought, because that was even around the George Lucas era, and then where the show came, either way, it was part of the George Lucas era, Star Wars. But I thought, like, I loved the prequels. I mean, I recognize that everything's not perfect, and that's the thing. It's like, my love for them is not strung up on if the films are absolutely perfect.
That's what, that's what I would say.
That is not what it hangs on. It's like, that's a different thing. Like if somebody be like, "Oh, this is a better film," it's like, yeah, but like I love these more than like fucking anything. Yeah. So it's like it's hard to, you know what I mean? It's hard to separate that, even if you know, and that's part of it is because like I accept all of those things in them, the prequels, the originals,
Yeah, it's almost like I don't know, it's not nostalgia or anything, but there's so many cool ideas in those that are like unique and just weird and things that like you just wouldn't put in a movie if you were just gonna like try and make like not a perfect movie, but just like you wouldn't get to do that unless you were George Lucas with like kind of a limited budget to kind of be like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this kind of weird thing. And it's like, but that gives it a lot of character that sticks with you and some of those things. And part of it's probably because we're a little bit older too, but there's like side characters in both those trilogies that are like, I wouldn't remember them now. I don't remember some of those characters from the sequel trilogy that stick with you because they're so unique.
The other night I watched, not going to get into all of it, but I watched Attack of the Clones, right? And I was like, just the part where like Anakin and Obi-Wan get into the bar and they look for Zam Wessel, who's like, trying to kill the queen and everything, Padme. And he's just like, where are you going? He's like, for a drink. He's like, go look for her. And he's like, I think he's a she, or she's a he, or whatever. And she's a changeling, just kind of deviates from one to the other or whatever. And like, because whenever she looks at Anakin, where he's like stabbing his lightsaber through her like little ship. Yeah. She just like looks over and she looks kind of like alien-esque. It's just like nuts. But then so Obi-Wan like goes to the bar. And like that guy that's just there like having his drink and shit, he's just like, "What am I, some death sticks?" It's just fucking legendary. He's like, and I told you about this earlier. I was watching it, and he's like, you don't want to tell me death sticks. I don't want to tell you death sticks.
Like personality things.
It's so. Obi-Wan is like just part of some of my favorite moments. Like he's always been my favorite character in Star Wars. Like Stone Cold's always been my favorite wrestler, and Obi-Wan's always been my favorite Star Wars character. Those two truths have always been intact. And but like his sarcasm, his like, you know, the fights that he was in, the Anakin one, the Maul one, like all the stuff that he was in, and he's one of the rich characters, obviously. But Star Wars is full of them, and that like that's what's brilliant about George Lucas and what he created, because either way, this is still his world. And he created like this entire fucking thing. The lightsaber, you know what I mean? Like the Tatooine, Naboo, like the Old Republic, you know what I'm saying? Like all the stuff in one. It's like, that had never been a thing before that, you know?
Yeah.
He did change the world of filmmaking, and he changed the landscape of like sci-fi and everything along with it.
Yeah, no, it's
so
they're special. It was cool, it was exciting when those prequel trilogy was coming out. It was just fun, exciting stuff. So then when the sequels came out, what happened? So
I mean, it was still fun and exciting when they were coming into theaters and stuff.
I'm not sure I've ever been. I was telling somebody, I was like, we were obviously really excited for the Super Mario thing. I was excited for my son. I was like, it's probably the second most excited I've ever been for a movie is The Force Awakens. I think I was just like,
I was so fucking hyped.
I was excited, and the trailers were so good. They were great. And I still think, and I think this might be, I don't know if this is controversial or what, because I don't know what you guys think. I think it's great. I think The Force Awakens is awesome.
I really like that one.
I remember watching it in theaters, and I think as what it is, like that movie is really great. I think there's a couple things you could tweak that could have been would have been able to be fixed later. So it's like, how's the First Order still around? Like, I feel like it wasn't a big deal that we like vaporized like a entire like whatever planet or what, I don't know what's going on, you know, like we didn't really know what was going on there. And I feel like those couple of things that I'm like, I feel like that could be tweaked in the next one, and they just kind of feel like it's the same thing with Last Jedi, where I'm like, there's lots of things I didn't like about that one that could have been tweaked, and like you said, it's like always double down or completely flip and make things
when they blew up the planet like it was like the Death Star 3.0 or something.
Like it's the Death Star, but it's 3 times the size. It's the Star Killer.
That is one of my. I only had like, I think I told Elijah that too. I'm like, there's only like 2 real things. I kind of forget what the other one is. Maybe if we keep talking, I'll figure it out. But one of the things that it didn't kill it for me or anything, because I still loved it. I was hype. I had never ever seen, and to this day, I've still never seen a movie more times in theaters than The Force Awakens. I don't know if that'll ever get broken or not.
I can't remember how many times I saw it. It was when I was in college or Christmas break too, and so people would be like, I haven't seen it yet. Let's just go, you know. And so we went all the time too. I probably saw that 4 or 5 times.
Probably 3 or 4.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm like, you just keep going back. I thought it was great, and then it ends great too. And you're like, what's gonna happen next?
I saw it 7 times.
Yeah, oh man, yeah. I thought it was awesome. I thought the new characters had a lot of like personality and like kind of promise and stuff. What do you guys think about The Last Jedi? Because I know that's kind of like the most controversial one.
I still saw that, I think, 5 times in theaters.
I saw all of them multiple times.
Yeah. I think you saw Force Awakens 4 times, you told me, because you saw it with like, me and you saw it at least 2 of the times.
Yeah.
Just
I
in
know I saw
the IMAX. And we saw it the IMAX 3D that time too. And the OmniMax, and then I think you said you saw it one other time. But no, here's the thing. I wouldn't have had a problem with Luke, like that last image of him, even discovering him and stuff at the end of The Force Awakens, which some of that is even a little, I've seen people talk about that, like it still being suspect. It's like, how do you have this piece of the map, like where he actually is? Like, and nobody knows, like, what do you mean? Like, there's a couple of things. The same as Maz being like, about the lightsaber, that everybody's like, how the fuck did you get that? A good story for another time. And then we never got told what the story was.
Those are the kind of things that
those are all, but see, some of those were a failure on The Last Jedi and the other one to capitalize it. But it's like, why would you even set it up if you weren't going to tell it? You should have told it in The Force Awakens.
The worst thing is the plan. Like, they didn't have like a good through kind of like, this is what we're going to end and build towards, and it's like, that was just kind of a bummer because like a lot of those things are. I mean, there's a lot of mysteries in there that are like, oh shoot, like what is that? You know,
we've still never seen it expand.
That's why I said it felt like a wrestling story to me because it was like they had the beginning and then it's like we're just gonna fly by the seat of our pants and hope that we're gonna come up with some badass shit for 3 movies. Like I feel like they had the Force Awakens kind of down, or at least in J.J. Abrams' mind, he's like, I know what I'm gonna do with this, and then Ryan Johnson's like, I have different plans, and then they're like, well, J.J. Abrams, I guess try to fix this. That was where they fucked up. It's like if you had 2 directors directing in this trilogy and they had different visions, it's not gonna work.
No, especially not if you go from like 1 to 2 and like switch it like that. Because that's what I was gonna say. I wouldn't have had any issue with them ending with Luke. Oh, she finds Luke, and then he does that turnaround, and then it's almost like epic because you're like, what are we gonna get in the last, like in the 8th movie? I wouldn't have had an issue with that if they had capitalized. But then they treated Luke like shit in The Last Jedi. They did. They made him kind of whining and bitching, and it's like, I don't know. I just think he deserved more respect than that. Like, above all, in The Last Jedi certainly had some flaws, but above all, like the way they treated Luke kind of bothered me the most. Also, though, that code breaker shit was stupid because they didn't even find the master code breaker on the other planet. They didn't even find it, so it was pointless to even go there.
Yeah, that was the worst stuff for me. Is the Rose and Finn stuff. I was like, I'm not really into this. Yeah, I was like,
not great.
I didn't love that, and I didn't hate all the stuff with Poe. I know why people didn't like it. I didn't hate it or anything, but I know why people kind of didn't.
The battle with Kylo and them and Snoke's like guards, like that was a pretty sick battle.
Yeah, I thought that was cool, and I thought it was pretty
just like killed Snoke. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, well, he's done now.
I'm like, where's this gonna go? Like nowhere. There's no anywhere that interesting. So it's like that was kind of a bummer, and then. Yeah, the stuff with Luke, I feel like if he didn't die and he got to do a little bit more stuff in the next one, it's like they could have redeemed a little bit of that. Because maybe
even if he had passed, it should have been a 9 and not 8. Like
So I'm like, I was like, oh man, I can't believe they dropped him like that. So I kind of enjoyed some of like the stuff where they were talking about how like talked about how the Jedi kind of failed, like in the prequel trilogy, about just like letting kind of evil rise and stuff. I'm like, oh, they haven't really talked about this kind of like in universe and whatever. But then at the end, they're kind of like, well, it's still like they still obviously had a bunch of good ideas and stuff, and that we can take forward. And I know people didn't like that they kind of talked trash on the Jedi or whatever, but they kind of said like they obviously had flaws, but we're obviously this is kind of the thing we're doing here. And then Luke dies, so it's kind of like I don't know, but. Like,
the Yoda scene was great too.
Yeah,
that scene with Kylo and then like the ship blasting apart. I
thought that was cool.
That was sick. The Kylo Rey in the Snoke, like that fight was sick. The Yoda and Luke moment was awesome. Like there was quite a few things that actually were enjoyable in The Last Jedi, but like as a whole movie, like you could have removed a lot of that Canto Bight stuff and made it a 2-hour and 5-minute movie, and I think it would have been a better movie.
Yeah,
to be honest,
I think a couple of those things I think could have been pulled for sure. And then really, I mean, I haven't seen Rise of Skywalker since I watched it in the theaters.
Really?
I watched it at that time, and I was just like, I just bummed me out. I was like, I don't know why they're doing this. Like, just kind of something bad. Like, I'm like, there's sometimes like, if you're in charge of something or doing whatever, and you make a decision, it's like sometimes the best thing to do is just be like, this is the decision, okay? Mm-hmm. Until like. Things blow over or whatever, unless it's like catastrophic. So if you're like raise a nobody, like that's kind of cool, we never really had somebody like that. And it's like, actually, no, she's a clone. And it's like, well, why'd you even say that in the last movie? So it's like those kind of things. And I don't know, those were, I haven't really seen that one since theaters. But
your parents were nobody. And then she's like, you are a Palpatine.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, yeah, and Emperor Palpatine's back. And I haven't seen it since then. But yeah, that's my least favorite one for sure. Out of the 9, is that one. So I
Last Jedi is just barely above that. So
I would definitely at this point I would say that.
To be honest with you, I kind of think I like Rogue One and Solo better than 8 and 9 too.
Oh, okay.
As a whole, as a film from beginning to end, I'm not saying there weren't even cool elements in, because that's the thing. I love Palpatine. And it still was just like, how does it not negate Vader's sacrifice
Yes, yeah.
And undermine that if you're good. Like, even if he's like, well, I'm all the Sith, so he's just kind of like a representation of what it is, and he was, had the machine and stuff to his back, whatever. It's like, I don't know. I'm not sure that bringing him back, like, I still think it was a misstep to kill Snoke that early. I thought we were going to get, like, Luke and Snoke, or, like, maybe Kylo versus Luke actually in Episode 8, and then, like, the next episode, either Snoke and Luke would both die, or that Snoke, you know what I mean? Something like that. That would have been the natural progression if you had followed all the movies with what would have happened. You know what I mean? You don't even have to be that smart to figure that out. Be like, oh, okay, what does the order look like? Yeah, is it okay, this is kind of predictable, and or it follows the events from before, but it's like, it doesn't mean it would have been worse, because it certainly would have been better.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever been that disappointed. I thought it was fine, at best. I think those original 3 and Force Awakens, I think I have just a lot of, like, I think that was just kind of a cool moment in my life. I think that was probably up there with that one, and then Revenge of the Sith, and then I don't know. I think I like Last Jedi more than you guys probably do. So I think I probably have it more up towards the 1s and 2s than you guys would. But
really,
yeah. And then a big drop down to 9 there. So
really, I don't think that those. See, to me, those aren't as far apart as that. But that's all our own. But I just. Like, there's some things that he really did well in The Last Jedi, but it's like I would have rather seen Luke actually there, as cool as the projection was.
Yeah, I think there was some, just like, there was just some going off the path just to do it, instead of like, I don't know.
There's no reason, whenever you had fucking 3 more movies, that we should not have seen Han, Leia, and Luke back together.
Yeah, I don't know why.
That was another misstep.
Yeah, so, even Han and Leia aren't together very much, and yeah, so I don't know, and Han and Luke never see each other, so
nope,
it's pretty
cold.
It's pretty wild. So it'd be nice to kind of do like an animated thing, maybe that was like just after, and maybe adapt some of like the expanded universe stuff of like what their adventures were, kind of like in between, just to kind of show something. But yeah, because I had never read like the expanded stuff that had them, like like it was the sequel stuff before that, but I heard it was good and interesting. So wonder what made them want to kind of shift and do those things. So. But yeah, no, I do like, and then Rogue One and Solo I both think are really good too.
Yeah, yeah. The Vader scene in Rogue One was
sick.
Sick.
Man, that was nuts. I remember trying to find that on YouTube like after it happened. I was like, this is the crazy thing I've ever seen in my life. It's so cool.
It was so sick. Was cool. how the lights like closed down and then the saber came out.
Oh man,
it was just the score.
Yeah, that was cool too, because that was like the tail end of that movie, like the ultimate climax. You finally saw Vader,
and then you saw like Leia turn around and like how they CGI'd the face and stuff. But like I liked it because then like it paid it the highest compliment you could pay to like A New Hope, because immediately after Rogue One ends, you want to watch A New Hope because you're like, man, that just set up the original better than it had ever been like set up before. So I was like, man. But yeah, I like those a lot, and The Force Awakens.
Yeah. What's the best one? What's your favorite one?
Out of the Disney ones?
Out
of all of them, Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back second.
I was gonna say mine would probably be. It's hard. I say Empire Revenge. It just kind of depends on the day, but it's definitely one of those two. I feel like, which is kind of crazy because those sort of are the evil wins kind of movies.
Yeah.
But I feel like I kind of like 2 and 6 more than some people like them too.
Yeah.
Like I feel like those are the ones that kind of get hate. That I'm like, I'm pretty into those ones.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I would probably, if I had like rate them and like on a film scale, I'd probably say Empire Strikes Back is the best, but I think I like watching Return of the Jedi the most. I think it's probably my favorite one to kind of watch and go to, because I'm like, as soon as Empire Strikes Back ends, I'm like, you gotta watch these back to back. I feel like you just have to. I don't know why. And they used to be on like TNT or something.
You're like, evil can't win. I gotta watch the next one
to see him get beat.
I know. I don't know what it is. I'm like, the intro scene with Vader is really cool. On the new Death Star is cool. So, I think that's kind of how I'd go with that. So,
When he shows up to like get on the Death Star, he starts like bitching immediately, like Palpatine.
I know.
He's what a great character, though.
I know. Yeah, that's I love that too, especially like if you watch them back to back, and Vader's just been, if you don't get the job done, he just kills you, you know. So that's kind of like the whole vibe of the Empire. And then at the beginning of the next one, he's like, he's like, you gotta get all this stuff done for the Death Star because the Emperor's coming like in like a week, so you gotta like hurry up. He's like, we're trying our best, and he's like, well, you gotta better hurry up because he's like way meaner than me, and you're like, what? I mean, you killed all your staff last movie, so I'm like, I just love that part. He's like, the Emperor's not as forgiving as I am, and you're like, and you're like. And you're like,
you're a dick.
Yeah.
He like chokes everybody out.
Yeah, you're like, what do you mean? And you're like, you're like the meanest guy I know. So
I don't know. The Empire or the Emperor is he's ruthless. Man.
That's pretty true.
I feel like Darth like bullies and pushes around everyone, and then the Emperor shows up. He's like, yes, sir. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's the guy he answers to.
So yeah, no, that's yeah, I can't think of any other projects or anything. I enjoyed the Clone Wars when they came out. At first, I wasn't really into it because it was like animated, and I was like in high school, and I was like, I'm not into this. And then I got in college and kind of went back and got to rewatch them, and then got to rewatch watch the new stuff when it came out on Disney Plus. So that was great. I like the Bad Batch. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that much of that. So
I watched it.
I'm not sure if I'm 2 seasons behind or 1 season behind or what.
I think there's only 3.
Okay, so I think I'm 1 season behind. So. But when I watched that, I was like, this is cool. And it fills in a lot of blanks, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, how
did you see that Emperor scene in like the second where he like comes up in the freaking I think it was like one of the debate rooms to like talk for a little bit.
Yeah.
That was a sick, because like even the score in the animated, it was like, oh shit, like it felt like a huge deal. Like where he showed up in there. It was like, oh.
Yeah, no, that was cool. And just to be like, you know, how did they transition from clone troopers to stormtroopers? Like that was kind of, like, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
you know?
He announced it then. Yeah, because Cheatham, like, we were watching it together, and I was like, oh, because he wanted to, like, to see my reaction to it, and see, you know, I was like, oh, man, that was crazy. Because I always did want to know that, too, and the blanks to be filled in. And see, Solo helped fill in a lot of blanks.
Yeah. Like
how Chewie got his nickname, like, you know, a lot of the jokes, and you got to see him like do the parsec record and all that shit. In the Falcon. I felt like Donald Glover did a great job as.
Oh, he was great.
As freaking Lando.
It's been too long. They bring him back, do something else with that. So.
I know.
Yeah. No, I've since the Rise of Skywalker, I've kind of been like not as into it as I was before. Like I'm just kind of like, oh, I'm like I like Star Wars, but like before then I was kind of like I love Star Wars. Like,
well, you should still love all the things that you used to love.
That's true. I don't know. Yeah, it's been a bummer because then I'll go back and rewatch stuff and I'm like, actually, I mean, this is like so sick. Like it's so cool. But
the Jedi fights and battles they had in the prequels were just that was like as a kid, like you're like, oh, this is awesome.
So good. Yeah. No, it was good. And then another bummer about kind of the new ones, and I didn't mind that they were kind of making lightsabers heavy and kind of like, you know, the fights in Force Awakens were different, but there was like not really like a big climactic lightsaber fight in the last 2 of those movies. So like
some of the logic I think was, and I've seen this before, it's like they were so trained in like using them all the time back in the prequel era and like Old Republic era that they're obviously not going to be trained as well in advance like later on. But it's like it's also kind of mind trickery because they're trying to convince you. They're like, no, they're more powerful. It's like, if they can't even use the lightsabers a 10th as well, how are they more powerful?
Yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why you'd be like, hey, Rey is carrying around a staff, and then like not give her like a double-edged lightsaber. Yeah,
it was sick.
Yeah, I'm like, so, yeah, I don't know why we didn't get
Rise of Skywalker just was so choppy, and like no Star Wars film had really ever felt like that before it. Not even The Last Jedi.
Like a whole movie of retconning shit. Just trying to
the
save face.
I will give Rian Johnson a lot of praise for that because at the end of the day, like some of the scenes or not, like The Last Jedi still felt like a completed like film. Like he knew what he wanted to do, even if you didn't like it, and he put it together and made it the story it was.
Yeah,
you know?
And that's there was at least some ideas and stuff. And Crate's a cool planet. Like it's like that's like a cool idea.
The salt, like whenever they go past it turning red, that was pretty sick.
Yeah, like that's cool. Like it's unique and different and kind of feels like some Star Wars stuff. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I still think they could have done without Canto Bite. It would have been a much better
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
Just if you removed that.
Well, they had to do something with Finn. He's like, I don't know what to do with him. Just write him into this.
That was so
meaningless
goofy.
thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember reading at some point like it was tough because they felt like Finn and Poe were similar characters, so they didn't want to put them together. And I'm like, well, then just make them. They just write something to make them a little bit different from each other. I don't know. I mean, you guys are the writers. I mean, so it's like I don't know. They kind of had 3 things going on, but like only one of them was really that interesting, you know. So it's like, yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. And I wish we got to see Luke do a little bit more stuff. The kind of stuff we got to see him do. I was like, well, that's pretty cool. Like when he fell, he like holds himself for a second. I'm like, that's sick. You know, like just I don't know, just a little bit extra things.
Yeah, there was something that I really did enjoy about it. It's just different because it used to be this monumental, once in a lifetime event thing, and then we kind of saw it get. And like some of them, I really have enjoyed the series and the shows, you know, stuff like that we've gotten. But it definitely has changed since then, you know.
Yeah, just not really like a event as much anymore. Like I'm not sure how Mandalorian and Grogu is gonna do. Like
I know, we're seeing it opening night.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna go see it, but I'm not sure if if people are into it or not. Like I know I'm gonna watch it.
I hope it's good. Yeah. I mean, the trailers give me kind of hype for it. It definitely seems like it's gonna be a different kind of movie. You know, different kind of Star Wars movie. But
yeah,
it's cool because it's its own kind of thing. It's over those characters. You know, it's not gonna be.
We haven't got one in 6.5 years.
Yeah,
that's why.
By then, so
that's crazy. Yeah, no, it's no, I'm excited for it. My son hasn't done a whole lot of Star Wars yet. There's some like Star Wars action figures and stuff. He thinks lightsabers are cool, but we haven't watched a whole lot, you know, because he doesn't like live action stuff too much. So we might try and do some like cartoons and see if he's into that, you know, that kind of thing. So, but I mean, like anybody, like. You know, you put a lightsaber fight on TV. I mean, it's like, I mean, people love that, you know? Like, you're just glued into that, like, what is happening? So, even if it's, like, you know, one of the ones that isn't as popular or good, it's, like, it's fun to watch.
Coolest weapon in the history of film.
Yeah, I know. It's so cool. Like, I don't even know how you thought about that. Did you guys watch The Acolyte? Did you watch that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know people were super...
Like, once, too, that they were like, oh, it's not getting another season. I'm like, well, then I'm definitely not going to watch it.
It's so weird because I know people were really, like, that show's not very good, and the first few episodes are like I don't think they're that great. I don't think they're as bad as people said they were. But
I didn't think it was horrible.
Yeah, but then there's an episode where it's like the entire episode where they just fight with lightsabers, and I'm like, this is pretty cool. And people are fighting like the Sith guys like fighting dirty and stuff. Yeah. He's like throwing stuff at people. He's doing that thing where you turn the lightsaber off, or you're not supposed to do. You know, he turns it off and attacks people, and he's like pulling people into him as they're like trying to. Fight them and like making people attack each other. I'm like, this is cool. And then it goes back to being kind of like not that good of a show anymore. I'm like, it's so weird because it's like 6 episodes long. It's like 2 episodes I think are really not great, and then like one of the best episodes of TV I've ever watched, and then like 3 episodes where it's not very good anymore.
Well,
and I'm like, what's happening?
They finally reveal like the Yoda. Elijah already knows, so even though he hasn't seen it, we've already talked about it. But they show like Darth Plagueis like hiding behind like that rock and shit, and then they show fucking Yoda at the very end, and then they're like, "All right, that's it, we're done."
Yeah,
it's like the show should have been about this.
The show was about to be cool, and they're like, "All right, no more." Yeah, the stuff you guys have been asking to see on film forever, not gonna happen.
I know. Yeah, that's so weird. Yeah.
We probably wouldn't have seen a whole lot of either one of them in season 2 anyway.
Yeah,
but. Maybe they would have been in there.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, especially because it's like, I know they want to do new stuff with new characters and stuff, but I mean, Darth Plagueis is like not a new character, but he's unique to, you haven't seen him on,
The Star Wars universe will never have enough of like the lore with all of the old characters. And there's so many of them whose stories have really still never been told.
Yeah.
So like, like, unless you're going to blow my mind with a new character, I want to see some stories about all the old ones.
Yeah, the ones we haven't,
we've never seen a ton from some of, like, the council members, and, like, there's so much stuff I'd love to see.
Yeah, no, that's,
Should be a Plo Koon show.
I know, right?
That would be sick!
Yeah, no, those kind of things, those would be cool. And then even there's some of those guys that are, like, I always say with most things, like, I'm pretty nerdy, and there's, like, there's people who don't know anything about any of this stuff. And there's people who know like a little bit, like my mom knows what Star Wars is, but she knows like some of the characters and stuff. the people who know like way too much, like they know everything. And I'm like right.
Were you gonna say
Yeah.
you?
No, I'm like right here. So like I know who like Darth Plagueis is, but I don't know like the whole story and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
behind him. So,
Well-
like, so like for me, like if they showed a show about that, I'd be like, that's cool. I don't know anything about this guy. You know?
You know Sidious's master, like
Yeah.
Palpatine's
Yeah.
master.
Yeah.
He told the story, but other than that, I don't know a ton about him. I knew he was extremely, extremely powerful. Now, if you go back into canon, though, they'll still tell you the most powerful Sith Lord, like, of all time was Palpatine. Because he killed his master, you know?
Yeah.
And then it took a lot to kill him. So, but, I don't know. But yeah, this, by and large, was about the George Lucas era.
Yeah.
Even though, obviously, we're going to talk
Oh
through some
man,
of
yeah,
those.
we got kind of through that. I would say, Elijah kind of said this like it almost can't be underrated because it's so popular. So I'd probably say it's fair. I don't think it's overrated because I think it's all good. So I was almost gonna say underrated because like I feel like sometimes like especially the people who are getting younger who didn't grow up with
as
it
the
as much as we did.
generations age, it probably will get more underrated.
Yeah. So
Although the prequels have gotten a lot more love the last,
Yeah.
10 years or so.
yeah, I remember when especially when the new ones were coming out, people were really dogging on them, and I was like, I still really like them, So I was like, I'm like, those are, my childhood and stuff, and just watching Attack of the Clones is probably the one I watched the most as a kid, because it was, 3 years of just rewatching that movie over and over again, basically, so I had like the big old book of stuff and like all the characters and all those kind of things, so, I think those ones are, rated well.
Yeah.
I've probably arguably seen The Phantom Menace more times than I've ever seen any
Yeah.
movie.
I,
Just because, also, there was quite a few viewings. Like, Harry would come over, that's how we started hanging out, after, kindergarten. He would come over, every summer until, through 6th grade. And then he'd come over still, quite a few days, 7th and 8th, But we watched that, in the Goonies so many times, those first, few summers. And, we watched it a ton back then, and I've seen it a bunch, since then, of course. I don't know, I may have watched it since I saw it for the 25-year anniversary 2 years ago. I don't remember exactly. I know I haven't watched Revenge of the Sith since the 20-year last year, which is why I watched Attack of the Clones, because I was like, it's been the longest since I've seen that one. But Phantom Menace, it was the reason I wanted to is because, we just said, we were too young whenever it came out in theaters, and I was like, I didn't see that, but I know for a fact. I remember being in my seats where I was and, how we were seating, basically, in Attack of the Clones and the Revenge of the Sith. So, and we saw him with my grandpa. And, I don't know, I think Phantom Menace, I think it gets fucking... I think some people actually do like it now, too. But, some people still poke fun at it. And I'm like, I love that one.
yeah, I know.
Love it.
I think I might like Attack of the Clones less, honestly. I know sometimes people don't think that, but I don't know. But yeah, no, we had a VHS copy of Phantom Menace, but we had a DVD of Attack of the Clones. We go on road trips and stuff, and you just put it in a DVD player and stuff. And I'm like, I watched that a million times, and then so, but yeah.
But that was only my first one of this round. We can kind of go quick. I figured we were gonna have a talk about Star Wars.
Yeah,
once
no,
we
I
start
thought we
going
talked.
from
Yeah,
there.
I thought we talked for a little bit.
Who's
I think my second one.
Alrighty.
Well, this kind of ties in because there's some Star Wars movies that you can equate this to, but last episode when our friend Ricky and Justin were on, I kind of said sad elements in kids' movies. This one, kind of similar, but movies all around. What do you think about movies that end on a down note? Movies that end on a downer, just in general. There's a lot of horror movies that do, but that's kind of expected with that kind of thing. But even you could argue The Empire Strikes Back ends on a downer.
It could be an Evil Wins or
Yeah.
Usually even with a lot of tragedies, there's always what always happens is there's a moment of hope at the very end, the very very end. It might end with something that's, oh my God, she died or whatever, passed away, cancer or something. But it's like there's always like a little another message, you know, a quote, something somebody says to like hang you on, trying to hang you on a more positive note. But I still think even those movies, it's rough enough still to where, because they don't want to make you feel like complete shit, that's why they add that moment of hope. But I still think it ends probably enough on a downer for it to be considered a tragedy, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it depends on the movie and kind of what it's like. I think if it's like a bummer movie, it ends on a downer, it's like, oh, that just, like, I don't know if I like that one as much. But if it's like a movie where it's like, you know, there's ups and downs and then like it ends on a downer, like I'm like, okay, you know, just kind of like, you know.
Took you on a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, it just didn't happen to go that way, you know. But if it's like just down the whole time, it's like, that's kind of.
Well, there's certain movies too where it's like, you know, kind of going into it. I forget the name, like My Sister's Keeper or whatever it was. It was like, oh, well, this is a girl who's got cancer and her older sister takes her. It's like, I know where this is headed.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be sad as fuck. You know, it's like, do I even really want to watch this?
Yeah.
But we're like big fans of horror too, and talk about it on this podcast. And there's a whole lot of those movies that kind of end like that.
Yeah.
My girlfriend will get like mad. She'll be like, I don't even understand why we sit down and watch. Like, why am I gonna waste 2 hours of my life if at the end it's just as shitty as when it started?
Yeah, no, it's
It's
like, what the
like-
heck? Yeah,
I mean, that doesn't really bother me.
couldn't
to
get out of
that
their
level.
situation.
Well, meaning what though? Like it's just like
a lot of those horror movies where it's like,
oh.
at the end, it's like, oh, they thought they killed the guy. Then he comes back and he kills the people. And then it's the end or something. It's like, well, what the fuck did I even watch this for?
Yeah.
But I don't mind it because I like horror and I expect
Yeah.
that the evil guy's probably gonna...
There is a lot of them where like the vibe's weird. There's some creepy guy like you're looking at somebody from like a bush, and then it's just like it still ends on like the same kind of vibe. You're like, oh, it's
like
going back
it's
to
like
the way it was.
POV from inside the bush.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay, the guy's still out there.
Yeah, it's kind of like oh,
Somebody
back to
threw binocular, like The Hills Have Eyes. It was the dude with the binoculars.
after
and shit.
they won and like he saved his daughter and everything, and then they had the binoculars going back. Oh, there's more people in the hills.
Oh fuck! That was just.
I don't know.
plan.
I don't know if that was a downer though. Like the hills.
Well,
have
they were
eyes.
still fucked.
I mean,
They were stranded out there.
They
Their
won. They
van
gave
wasn't
them a
gonna
victory
run.
though. You know.
Yeah, they beat that one family. They were still gonna get plucked in the hills. There was a bunch of other people out there that were watching.
I don't.
Still.
But see, I don't feel like it ends
Oh, that
on
was
a down
definitely a
note.
downer. They were gonna get.
It doesn't.
plucked all
But
over.
see, that one isn't an example of a horror movie I would point to if I was going to say a downer.
I don't know. I would argue that
Like,
it's definitely a downer.
No, because they triumph over the family, even though you still
Okay,
get
yeah,
the reveal.
but that
at the end.
happens in all the horror movies. They triumph over the bad guy, and in the last 5 minutes, it's like, oh shit, the bad guy's still there.
There's usually a hint of it, but it's like, but yeah,
Because
I
it's
mean,
like you didn't actually beat the bad guy. They give the crew their
But-
victory of thinking they beat him.
yeah, but evil in a lot of horror movies is usually defeated before it's like, even if they hang it on, oh, this thing. It's kind of like when there's a tragedy and they give you that glimmer of hope. It's kind of like the bad guys glimmer, like at the very end, because it's like, oh, they got the victory, but not the war. It's always like, he's back.
Yeah, that's horror movies really
Yeah.
do the trope of you won the battle but not the war to end the movie a lot.
Yeah.
That's why it makes like Halloween H2O so cool, is because it was so definitive. Oh, that's
Yeah.
chopped off, roll
Oh, yeah.
credits.
We know where this is going. We
Oh,
can't.
man.
yeah.
The question I thought of is a good segue, but we'll get there in a second.
Oh,
So-
no, you're good if you
Yeah.
want to say put something or something else. Or you mean like you have a topic?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
No,
okay,
it'll be
okay.
good in a second.
No. Ending. So ending on a downer then.
It doesn't have to be horror, just anything in general. Any
Yeah.
movie in general that's just
I
kind of
think-
like,
I think I'd say fair. I think there's certain ones that I'm like, oh, I like that was a downer ending because it
sometimes the story calls
because
for
it
it.
fits the character.
Yeah.
So
Well, and if it's a story and if it's supposed to teach you something about life, and you're like, damn, like it kind of,
yeah,
it hits you like right in the soul, and you're like, it makes you really think.
yeah. Have you
It's therapeutic in like a good way.
have you guys seen Uncut Gems?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Okay, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's like the way it ends is kind of like yeah, that was bound to happen. Like that's kind of like
Plus, like
yeah.
certain
I think
movies
it's
like
like
that
it's
where
great.
it follows one turmoil character that's like spiraling. Scarface, for example, like with Tony
Yeah,
Montana. Like,
that's a perfect one. Yeah, it's
if-
like that was bound to happen.
if you're
right?
following this character's journey, that's like on a crash course. It's like it's entertaining, but you kind of know this is probably going to end bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Those examples, it's like it sort of necessitates a downer ending
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, no, so I guess that's circumstantial for me. So I'd say fair, I guess.
Or like biopics, the same thing. Certain biopics, you're like, well, I know this ends with this guy dying tragically.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say fair too. I don't think there's a better way to probably rate it for me, because some of this, and sometimes if they are true stories, and that's what it's what the script calls for, and generally, like if you know something about the story and the characters, like the way it's gonna go, what to expect to some point or another. But like, or also if the premise, cancer, or they got this, or like that, you know what I mean? Like sometimes they'll lead you on to know what the story is going to be about. Yeah. And honestly, that's the thing, is like those stories should be told still. You know what I mean? Even if they're not.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we need a good variety of a lot of stuff that happens.
You
in
don't
film.
like things that are all just
yeah
light and full of letters.
Sometimes you need stuff to pull on your heartstrings,
Yeah, like when I didn't get to talk about that because I wasn't there for that episode, but when you're talking about like elements in kids' movies that are like more intense or like sad things, I'm like, I think those are important, because like some of those things, like you kind of have to just get around and about. Like think of how many times we saw in a movie like somebody die when we were like like we were like 6 years old. You're like, well, I mean that probably was our first introduction to that topic, maybe so that could be cool or whatever. So
sometimes it hits you differently too whenever you, and like I don't know if you guys know what I mean or not, but it's like you're watching an animated like kids film, but because the lessons are so deep, it almost hits you in a weird way. Like I'm not gonna say harder or deeper, but than like live action would, because like sometimes you like you watch it differently, and like the lessons, because you can relate them to real life without actually seeing real life people, you're like, man, like that's a universal like thing to take from this, like across the board. You know what I mean? Like something that really makes you think and like ponder.
If you guys ever have kids one day, it'd be really fun to watch Toy Story again, like just all those movies. I'm not sure the first and the fourth one exactly what the messages you can take from them. I think they're all good movies. I think the fourth one's worse than the other three, but they're all good. But like especially the second and third one. Third one's obviously about kids growing up and going to college.
Yeah.
And the second one really is about like, Woody wants to go off and maybe get, go to Japan or whatever, because he's going to a toy museum or whatever. And it's like, or does he want to stay and kind of be with Andy, even though he knows he's going to kind of live forever because he's a toy? And it's like, well, you really want to stay here and be, with Andy, even though he's going to grow up and leave you? And it's kind of like, being a parent. It's like, you're going to be here and they're going to grow up and leave eventually. But, he eventually, obviously, he wants to go back to Andy. But it's like, it's kind of cool, just that perspective, because I'm like, it was a fun movie when I was a kid, and I watch Toy Story 2 all the time now because my son loves it. And I'm like, this movie is way more intense watching as a parent. I'm just like, it's just like the
I think they
decision
do that
making.
with kids' movies. Like it almost feels like the lessons in them hit the adult harder.
Yeah.
Sometimes where it's like the kid, it introduces kids to certain emotions. Kids' movies like death, sadness, and things they'll experience in life, but like the true like deeper meaning lessons in kids' movies a lot of times are things that the parents are gonna pick up on.
Yeah, no,
watching with
it's
the
like
kids.
I didn't think that Toy Story 2 was gonna be like this big emotional movie to watch every time, but when we watch it, I'm like, this is just it's just kind of fun and cool. So yeah, you guys ready? You guys ready for?
Oh yeah, no, I think we both gave his a fair.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Take it on home.
Cool.
What do you got?
Cool. Last one here. I was thinking about this. I was looking around, all this horror stuff, and I had just watched for the first time a couple of his movies. So I wonder what you guys think about like Rob Zombie, the director.
Yeah, it's funny because even within like horror communities, he's one of the more polarizing directors. Like, you don't get a lot of middling kind of opinions on him. It's always like people are really fans of him and into his stuff, or people just think it's absolute garbage and they hate him.
Yeah.
There's like pretty much. I feel like I kind of am in the middle because there's times where I'm like within certain Robs, because like I thought the Firefly family movies were really good and his Halloweens were really good and stuff, but there are certain of his movies and certain elements in his movies that I like where I'm just like, Rob Zombie's just Rob Zombie too hard here.
Yeah.
Like, tone it down, man. Like, everybody's got their style and their own thing, but it's like you're going crazy hellbilly carnival shit right in my face all the time. It's like you're not always in the mood for a Rob Zombie film.
Yeah, it was. I was like, I'm gonna watch. I hadn't seen is it called the Firefly trilogy with the like Captain Spaulding and all them?
Yeah, House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects.
So I didn't. Whatever I was watching that weekend, my wife was gone, and I was like, I'm gonna watch. I was watch these this weekend, and I watched the first two, and the third one I couldn't find on something, so I watched those kind of back to back, and I was like, it's just I was looking to read opinions and stuff and what other people thought, and I was like, it is either like this is a work of pure art, or this is one of the worst things I've ever seen. So I was trying to like wonder what you guys kind of thought as like horror fans of things.
I do think the end of the Devil's Rejects though, when Freebird's playing and they're just flying right at the cops in a gunfight and they all just get shot down, and that's like I'm like that was a perfect ending.
Yeah.
Like that was such a cool ending. The Freebird playing like made it all the better too. Like that was a scene where that song made so much sense to play.
Yeah. No, the Devil's Rejects ended sick. I really loved his 07 Halloween. Even the H2O, or not H2O, H2 is how they marketed it, at least at the beginning of the campaign. It was the one that he made in 09, like the follow-up, you know. I really liked that one too. It was definitely more Rob Zombie-fied than the first one was. Like he added all of his like supernatural elements and crazy shit, like with some of the Michael stuff. But it was still really enjoyable, and as far as the Halloweens go, it's still, to me, like, no worse than middle of the pack, considering there's, like, 13 of them.
Yeah.
So, it's probably, like, 7th-ish for me, if I rated all the Halloweens in order.
Yeah.
But, some of the, like, what was it? Salem's... The Lords of Salem. That was a wild movie.
31 is another one that's, like... pretty damn out there.
3 from Hell was the movie you were talking about.
Yeah, is it the third one?
Yeah, that's
3
the
from
third
Hell.
one.
Third.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, I wish that movie wasn't even made. Because, like I said, I think The Devil's Rejects ended perfectly. And, God, why am I drawing a blank on Sid Haig? Yeah. He died early in the filming of 3 from Hell, so Captain Spaulding's not really even in it very much. Oh. So it's just kind of like, damn.
Do they bring him back to life, or what happens?
No, he just got. You mean like in the story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even.
I only watched it once, to be honest.
I think they said they didn't die there. I'm pretty sure is what happened. They
looks
just
pretty definitive.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's kind of like, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Getting shot up that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
But I mean, they got fucked up by the sheriff like moments before they got saved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By Tiny, because like the sheriff was like shooting nails through their hands and like stapling the pictures in their chest and like beating the fuck out of, and then like they just got in that car and drove off and got in a gunfight.
Jeez.
So
yeah, no, that's yeah, and you can tell those movies are kind of like not George Lucas like, but it's like you can tell it's like. Well, they let him kind of have free reign on a lot of this stuff, for better or worse. You know, sometimes like you said with the Halloween 2, it's like it's a little bit different, but
he's got an audience. But he's definitely got a fair share of criticism.
Yeah.
And, for that, I think I'm going to give him a fair. As much as that sounds like I'm going the middle of the road again. But it's like some of these are good, and sometimes you can give a nuanced, fair perspective that's like, I see why it's rated like that, you know?
Yeah.
Because I love some of the stuff that he's done. And other stuff is just too far out there. Other stuff I just haven't seen. But maybe would see. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with fair, I think. And... I'm glad that he is a director and he's still making stuff. So,
yeah, he's got to.
I hope he doesn't stop.
I feel about it too. Even the directors that I'm not like that into or whatever, it's like, I mean, if they have an audience and people are into it, it's like, I guess keep doing it.
Yeah,
People are watching it and into it.
Yeah.
The thing I always appreciated about, like, because I really like House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects, but it's like they're the same characters and part of the same story, but they're entirely different movies. Like, House of a Thousand Corpses is more of, like, your traditional kind of, like, horror almost movie. It's like got a haunted house element to it and this creepy backwoods family, but it's got like the horror movie host stuff that happen, like the weird little scrolls in between scenes and stuff like that. Like, it's much more zany. And then Devil's Rejects is like a lot more gritty, and it's kind of like a Western action movie in a way while being a horror movie too. It's just like they're this part of the same story, but they're completely different feeling movies, and I kind of like that element. Yeah, I'm gonna say fair too, because he's not necessarily my favorite, but he has made some stuff that I've really liked too, and I'm not ever like the hater of Rob Zombie on any of these horror pages or anything. If anything, I like kind of stand up for him more often than I shit on him, because I feel like he kind of gets a lot of that anyways.
Yeah.
Some people too, it's just like they complain and bitch about it. It's like, just don't watch it.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I still bitch about stuff that I won't watch too, like that Crow movie that Bill Skarsgård's in. I love Bill Skarsgård, but like, I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, it's like I don't know why. I don't know.
I just have no interest in watching it.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against him. You know?
Yeah, it's just the concept.
He's a great Pennywise. You know.
No.
Have you seen those?
Oh, I love those.
Oh yeah, no, they're great.
Good. I haven't seen the new show yet. So my wife and I gotta watch that together. So no, I think I don't know if this would probably be controversial, but that I think I probably favor on Rob Zombie. I'm just gonna say Rob Thomas. We're talking about.
We were talking about Rob Thomas a few episodes ago.
Matchbox 20, but I think that in the first Halloween movie of his is like my favorite moment from any of the Halloween movies is Laurie gets caught like in the pool and she's it's empty. You know what I'm talking about?
With the leaves and everything in there.
And she's like trying to get out and she just turns around and he's just like there and then he just kind of looks at her for a long time and then the music like the dun hits when he's like going down the stairs like and I'm like it sucks that she gets out of that so quick, but like as soon as that happens you're like, oh my god, like how's she gonna get out of this? Like I remember just watching that and being like, that was sick. Like that was like the most scared I've been in any of these movies. It's like I don't know how she's gonna get, and then she immediately kind of gets out, but there was like 5 seconds where she turns around and she's like, oh my god, like how much, like what's happening? That's
one of the funnest movie experiences I've ever had was like when we all saw the 2018 Halloween in theaters. Like, which was kind of going off of, like, the original that they made just, like, 40 years later, you know? And it was just so sick. Because it was, like, it felt old school, but it was, like, so new and interesting, too. It had all the elements that, like, made the old one feel special with being, like, modern. And I was like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And you were hoping that trilogy was going to be as good, but they pulled some sort of Force Awakens treatment same way, because like that series got kind of, you're like, whoa, what the fuck is going on?
The another moment in that 2018 one I think is probably like in those best moments of those movies is like where they're driving down the road. I think it's like a father and a son, and like you just see like the like all that stuff has happened, like that ship or that
kid. You couldn't tell if he was like
15 or
yeah.
But like, is this kid like 12 or is he like 18?
Yeah,
the van's like toppled over, and you're like, oh shoot, like what's happening? Like that was intense. But no, it's almost kind of like that same Star Wars trilogy where the first one I think is really solid.
Yep.
And the second one like really like good ideas. Like why did no one think of like this whole horror movie is gonna be like the townspeople are gonna go try and kill this slasher.
I really like the flashbacks and kills too, like to the original novel.
Oh yeah.
That was
when honestly, I thought Michael like getting up after that. Some people were like, "Oh, it's like okay, he's this machine, dude. He's gonna get up eventually, and he's gonna slaughter every one of these."
Yeah. How the hell did nobody just? Everybody should be blasting this guy with shotguns and rifles.
Why don't somebody
beating him with bats?
Why does no one have this?
Somebody should have sawed his head off. Like, you gotta detach the head from the body.
They didn't figure that out till ends when they ran him through the wood chip or whatever the hell they did.
Yeah. So.
The Corey Cunningham. Did you think that was kind of silly? Like how they?
I would have liked it if it wasn't the last one.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
if
like
it-
introduce
something
them?
different if it wasn't the
Yeah,
conclusion.
if
of
they
Once
were-
again,
yeah.
they can't make Halloween 3 fucking properly.
Yeah.
yeah,
We
I'm
can't make the first one because it's Season of the Witch. Rob Zombie can't have a third one, and even the new one
I
we
know.
can't.
I liked it, but I was like, I remember thinking like halfway through, I'm like, are they
Well,
supposed
the
to-
Thorn trilogy. I guess they got their third one kind of.
Oh, but those were technically all off of the first one still too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I would have liked it if it was like the 9th one or something, and then like the 10th one like later was something. Like, it was in the middle of like a big franchise. I'd be like, this is pretty cool, but it's like this is supposed to be the ending.
Was doing like something. Yeah, because it felt like we spent so much on Corey Cunningham. It was his story,
Yeah.
and then the big climax. It's like, okay, he's dead now.
Yeah,
We're
I mean,
gonna do the big fight.
if they were like, it almost, yeah, I was pretty engaged. I was like, if they killed Michael and they're like, we might make another movie about this guy, I'd be like, okay, all right, maybe. But then they just kill both
There
of
would
them.
have been
and I'm
such
like,
backlash though. Like,
yeah,
if there would have been like, we're continuing the Halloween franchise, but it's gonna be Corey Cunningham under
Oh,
a
yeah.
mask. People would be like, fuck that.
then
I'm
yeah,
trying
throw
to
away.
go
Only Matt Dillon would like it.
I didn't know you were a horror fan.
I try to watch. I try to keep a toe in everything. So
Yeah.
I'm like, so I can at least talk about some things. I try to listen to as much music as possible, so I can at least have an opinion on some stuff. And I'm trying to think of what all I've ever seen. I haven't seen all the Nightmare on Elm Street. I've seen like the first 4 or so. I've seen a couple of the Chuckies and stuff. We're working our way through Jason and all, and Friday the 13th. But I've seen all the Halloweens, seen all the Screams,
All the
stuff.
Halloweens?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. So yeah, those are.
What's the worst one out of all of them, you
Oh
think?
man, I don't know. What's oh man, I don't know. There's a bunch. It's a franchise with varying quality for sure.
Oh, there's like 6 of them that are brutal.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think. That's what I was trying to think.
Or like 4 or 5 of them. at
Yeah.
least.
What's the one with Paul Rudd?
The 6th one.
I don't think I like that one very much. I think I remember thinking.
You gotta
about
like that
I know
one
a
more
lot
than
of
Resurrection.
people-
Yeah. Okay. So
Resurrection was the one where
Resurrection
Busta
was
Rhymes
in the house.
beat the
Yeah,
shit
okay,
out
so
of fucking...
That's probably the last one.
See, I've heard
Yeah.
some people say they like Resurrection,
No.
not as a Halloween movie, but just as like, oh, this is a fun, silly movie to watch that includes Michael Myers. Like, they don't incorporate it or think of it as part of the canon at all. It's
Yeah.
just like,
Except it is.
yeah, that's the problem.
yeah,
And
that's
it's
just-
the last
You
one.
killed Lori in it.
And it's the last
Yeah,
one
that's
in that original cycle.
That's
of-
the same thing. Like if it wasn't off the back of H2O where they killed Michael, they bring him back to life. So if
Yeah.
they didn't do that,
Oh, it was a guy in a mask
That was so
that
stupid.
chopped the head
Because
off.
if you look at a trilogy between like Halloween 1, Halloween 2, and H2O, that's a fucking fantastic
Very true.
trilogy.
yeah, no, that's great. And then for them to do that, it's like, oh, that's a bummer. But yeah, if it was Michael Myers just killing people in a house, it's like, that's pretty cool, But
Mm.
yeah,
Busta Rhymes performing karate.
Yeah, no,
That shit was so
that's
goofy.
probably the
He's
worst
like,
one there.
"What?"
I know, it's brutal.
You
It's
know,
He crane kicks him out a window.
so bad. And that's still in the continuity where no, it's not. I guess I was thinking
Yeah.
like he's got like the curse or whatever, so he's like immortal or whatever. But I guess it's not. So I don't know. I'm trying to think of other things I would have watched that are like horror related. I've like seen everything. We watched all the Saw movies, but I wouldn't say I'm like a big fan of those. It's kind of just like
Some of those are banger though. They're
Yeah.
really John Kramer. His character is sick. Like in the reason he started doing like the saw traps and like
Yeah.
all that. Like there's so many elements to those movies. I think that make them interesting. Because like some people just think it's gore and gruesomeness, but it's like there's a few layers to it. Like there's a law enforcement layer, and then there's the John and Jill Kramer story. You
Yeah.
know, which is
Yeah, it's
part
kind
of
of
it
like
too.
that police procedural.
And all the traps. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know.
all right. I'll tell this story and then I'll get out of here. Get out of your guys' hair. At some point, my wife and I are getting ready to go on vacation with my parents, and at some point she must have said something that made me think she was a big fan of the Saw movies, and I was like, okay, cool. This was right when the one with Chris Rock was coming out, Spiral, and I was like, okay, cool. It was coming out the night before we were going to go on vacation with my parents, and we're trying to pack real fast so we could go watch this movie, and so we're like scrambling because it's like I got off work, and so it's like late at night. We're trying to go see like an 11 o'clock showing of this Spiral from the Book of Saw or whatever. And so we're getting all this stuff, whatever. And we rush to the movie theater and we like barely make it. And so we get into the movie theater to see it.
and we are sitting down. Have you guys seen that one? It's got okay, so it starts off and it's got that guy. He's got like his tongue stuck in something. You know, he's like hanging, whatever. So we're watching it, and when that happens, I look over at my wife because I'm like, oh, you know, like all those movies, like the whole time you're watching it like this, because it all hurts. Yeah. Movies. So I look at her, and in our eyes at the same moment, we both realize that she has never seen any of these movies before, and she has no idea. She has no idea that the whole movies are like this. And I'm like, what is that? Like, I thought you were excited to see these. And she thought that I was a huge fan of those movies, which I've seen them, but like, I don't have to go see that movie in theaters. I can just watch it later, you know? She thought I was a big fan. And so in that moment, we both realized that we were not excited to see this movie. We were just kind of like going because we both thought we were excited. And she looked at me and I was like, oh my gosh, she has no idea that this movie is like going to be this the whole time. It's going to be like this the whole time. Every 10 minutes, there's going to be somebody getting an arm ripped off or whatever. Oh, yeah. So, no, it was really fun. We ended up watching them afterwards, and it was like, you know, whatever. But I just remember the look on her face. I was like, oh my God. And then every time something happened, she'd just look at me and be like, why did you bring me to this? Why did you think I would like this? I'm like, I don't know why. I thought, I don't know what she would have said that made me think that was a big, fun thing for her, but yeah.
Gotta go. Did you like scrambling to a late night showing?
I know, we were.
It's your favorite franchise.
Yeah, we were both trying to hurry for each other. I wish I could have a picture of her face.
You watched Saw 10?
I haven't seen that one yet. So.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't start saying anything about it.
Good. So yeah, that's the only one.
That one's like actually a little longer than some of the other ones, and it's got like this whole like backstory and like John's in it. You know, John, because it's kind of like a back and forth like from the time. It's kind of why I think why they started saying Spiral, the Book of Saw thing, to where they could probably keep opening up other chapters if they wanted to and referencing like its own story.
Yeah.
But it was actually really well done. I think 10 is probably in the top 3 or 4 of the whole series for sure. 3 and 4 are like maybe my 2 favorites next to like 10 and the 6th one.
Yeah, I like the one that came out. I don't know if everybody else likes it a lot. I like the Jigsaw, like the one that was called Jigsaw. I like that one. I like the first one a lot.
Spiral was okay.
Yeah.
It had Samuel Jackson in it.
Yeah, I was like, it's just cool that they were able to do that. You know, I mean, horror movies don't have guys like that, and that's just kind of cool. But no, it's like there's elements of that I think are really cool, and then there's also things where I'm like, I don't know. It's almost like when you talk about wrestling sometimes, where they do like recaps, like we just saw this like 30 minutes ago. Like Saw sometimes at the end is like going to show you the whole movie again. I'm like, I know. I just watched.
Those are sick though.
Take you through all these.
Because it always gives you like the shocker at the very end as they give like the reveal and like you know they replay the whole story.
Yeah.
So it's like this is how we got here, and then he always gives you just a cold like.
Yeah.
Monologue like on the tape.
Yeah.
And he's like, and now you're in here to die.
Yeah.
That's like
dramatic.
That's bringing it full circle there is getting back to downer ending. So I mean,
no, true. It's like you're gonna lock me in here and I gotta listen to this?
Yeah.
It's like no. It's the outro music plays some hard heavy metal music.
But deviating from the horror movie down endings or any movie down endings, we did not have a down ending tonight. We've had a great time. Yes. Thank you very much for making the trip out here. We appreciate it. It was a great episode.
It was. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely,
we gotta share it out there.
Yeah, I wish I had some. I wish I would have told you guys I liked some of that stuff more. So we didn't have to talk about the boring basketball stuff at the beginning.
No,
all this cool stuff.
You gotta know what you're up to.
I'm glad we got into everything that's been going on, you know, and talk about like old St. Louis lore and Cardinals history and stuff, and cool like in the first part, like talking about your basketball and accomplishments and coaching. And just catching up, you know?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Hopefully back on again someday when we'll talk about some other stuff. Maybe I'll catch up on some of these franchises and we can talk about that. So.
Absolutely. Then we'll have a whole other 4 hours of conversation.
No, for sure.
So, all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. However you watched, however you listened, this has been Matt Moore on his debut episode in Casting Spotlight, episode 227. We hope everybody has a beautiful week out there. Take care of yourselves. We will see you next time.